On the Pittsburgh Steelers, both teams in the thick of the divisional playoff hunt and looking for division championships. Miami, a 2-game lead in the AFC East over Buffalo and the New York Jets. And the Pittsburgh Steelers chasing the Browns from 1 game behind in the AFC Central. Hello again, I'm Jim Lampley with Todd Christensen. Todd, 2 teams with similar experiences so far in the sense that both are playing terrific defense and struggling on offense. What about the Dolphins?
Well, first of all, with the Dolphins, I think they're going to get a big help today with the return of Bernie Parmalee. Bernie Parmalee has been outstanding when afforded the opportunity to get his carries. 150 yards against the Raiders, 124 yards against the New England Patriots, both pretty solid defenses. If he can get it going today, that will provide the requisite balance for the Dolphin offense.
Steeler defense still wins games, even though the offense goes 10 quarters without a TD.
And interestingly enough, somebody who had taken a lot of abuse earlier in the season, Rod Woodson, came up with 2 absolutely huge plays against the Buffalo Bills. 37-yard return for a touchdown, and of course the big sack on Jim Kelly, causing the fumble, recovered for a touchdown. One of the great athletes in the National Football League.
On the sidelines, Don Shula, more Super Bowls than any other coach, but not for 10 years now. The sand running through the hourglass, and on the other side, Bill Cowher has had his Steelers in the playoffs each of his first 2 years as head coach, now looking to make it 3 in a row. Weather for today's game, surprisingly good for this time of year in Three Rivers. Temperature 55 degrees, humidity down to 45%. A light wind, the forecast for cloudy skies, but no sign that we'll be experiencing rain. Dwight Stone deep at the goal line as Pete Stoyanovich prepares to kick it off for the Dolphins.
Dwight Stone, former starting wide receiver for the Steelers, has been a major contributor both on returns and in kick coverage. He's one of the reasons why the special teams for the Pittsburgh Steelers have been outstanding this year. That was a big problem for them last year. If you recall, playoff game against Kansas City, block punt got them out of the playoffs.
So Stoyanovich gets it started for the Dolphins. Stone will come up to the 9-yard line and looks for running room out near the 30-yard line before he's dragged down. It's a 21-yard return for Stone. Sean Hill downfield to make the stop for the Dolphins. And here's the starting quarterback for the day, Mike Tomczak, making only his 2nd appearance as a starter since having been picked up by the Steelers last year.
And in chatting with him, very interesting with regards to the fact that he is somebody who is very calm. I guess having played under Mike Ditka, Jim, gives him the attitude of somewhat laissez-faire. Nothing seems to bother Tomczak, as you see Neil O'Donnell not very happy about being on the bench, but he has had some physical problems, as we documented earlier.
On first down, it's Barry Foster with the ball. And Foster has a gain of about 6 before he's brought down. And we take a look quickly at the Pittsburgh offensive line. Much of what they do in the running game predicated on Dermontti Dawson's extraordinary quickness and mobility. Backs and receivers for the Steelers. John L. Williams could be a key to the game plan today, catching the ball and blocking at fullback, also performing as the backup tailback if Foster goes down. And when they go to 3 wide, Andre Hastings will be on the field at wide receiver. Regular starter Yancey Thigpen out today with injury. Ernie Mills gets the start ahead of Hastings. On 2nd down, the give is to Foster again, and the Steelers get what they want to begin the game on offense. A running game first down. Brian Cox making the stop for the Dolphins. Cox is still positioned as the middle linebacker, the key to Miami's run defense. Tim Bowen's strong candidate for Defensive Rookie of the Year. And in the secondary, J.B. Brown is a forcing corner who loves to come up and play strong against the running game. The Steelers may pick on him in the passing game today. When the Dolphins go to the dime, Frankie Smith and Muhammad Oliver are the 5th and 6th defensive backs. First down now for the Steelers near the 45-yard line. Tomczak's first passing attempt of the day is complete. The number 81, the rookie Charles Johnson, short of first down yardage as Johnson's brought down by Troy Vincent.
Charles Johnson, their first-round pick, is the man that they have been counting on. They're a little upset with his route running. He struggled with that, and they feel like that's going to get better. But I really think, Jim, that at this point in the season, he should have this down. This is not one of those positions to where it's all that technical. You know, the people that can run and catch, and certainly Charles Johnson can do that, but for whatever reason, his numbers are down. I think a lot of people feel like he's not measuring up to expectations.
2nd down, 2 yards to go. A short 2, a long 1 as Johnson goes in motion. Foster gets the call. And on his 3rd carry of the day, Foster again accounts for a first down before Chris Singleton makes the stop for the Dolphins.
Well, last week against the Chicago Bears, they held them to 2 yards per carry, and you can see there are 8 men up front. This is what they want to do. They want to make Tomczak beat them, but the offensive line of the Pittsburgh Steelers are clearly asserting themselves early. Foster now averaging better than 7 yards a carry in the early going.
And 3 carries for 19 yards already for Foster. Bam Morris, sidelined today with an injury. You see his numbers. He filled in so capably for Foster when Barry was out for a few weeks with injury. Now Tomczak on first down throws in the trap. It's complete to John L. Williams, and the veteran fullback is near the first down as he goes out of bounds inside the Dolphin 35 to the 34-yard line. Michael Stewart forces him out for Miami.
Well, even though Eric Green, the starter, is in the game, he has a hamstring injury, which means throwing underneath is going to require the skills of John L. Williams. Now, take a look at the stiff arm that he puts on Stewart. He can't be very happy about that. And that's the very reason why during his career he has been outstanding catching balls out of the backfield. Over 500 catches in his career, Jim. Third on the all-time list of running backs.
On second and a short yard, the Steelers go to 2 tight ends. Jonathan Hayes coming onto the field to join Eric Green. And Tomczak drops back instead, looks deep, and finally threw it away in the flat. It was almost picked off by Chris Singleton, who would have had a touchdown.
Well, the issue there that they're doing, which I find impressive, is the fact that they're throwing on running downs. But Marco Coleman beats John Jackson to the inside, falls down on the leg of Tomczak. Unfortunately, you saw at the last minute the foot come up. That's a good deal, because if it gets planted, then he is going to be out, and they're going to really have some problems at the quarterback position. Marco Coleman has been the one generating the pass rush from that side. And with the absence of Jeff Cross today, his game is going to have to be stepped up a notch.
So now it's third down and a short one. Again, the Steelers in 2 tight ends. Now make it 3 tight ends. Foster gets the call and moves the chains again. Down close to the Dolphin 30 before Brian Cox again made the stop.
The left side of the offensive line for the Pittsburgh Steelers is really asserting itself. Watch Duval Love and John Jackson and the lead block there. Look at the gap that's created. There really shouldn't be that kind of hole in short yardage situations, but clearly the offensive line of the Pittsburgh Steelers is dominating the line of scrimmage at this point.
And that number reflects that. As Foster is off to a good start with 4 carries for 23 yards. First down now, ball just outside the 30. Foster again, and this time Tim Bowens and the middle of the Miami defense are there to stack it up. Number 99, Chuck Klingbeil, with the initial hit on Foster. Dolphins can be expected to jam the box today. Todd Christensen. There's one man who might burn them if they are too run conscious.
That'll be interesting to see the first time he catches the ball as to how bad that hamstring is. You know, the hamstring isn't that much of an issue in the running game, but downfield, which is where Eric Green excels, that's where we're going to have to see how much of a debilitation it is.
9th play in the drive now for Pittsburgh. Tomczak looking to Ernie Mills, and it's in and out of the hands of J.B. Brown, who almost stopped the drive just inside the Dolphin 10.
J.B. Brown did an outstanding job of baiting Mike Tomczak. He was with him step for step, but gave him the illusion he was a little bit behind. Watch at the last minute, number 37, knife in front and almost picked this ball off. You mentioned at the outset, Jim, the fact that Mike Tomczak wanted to pick on J.B. Brown and felt like he could get one deep. Not that time.
Third down now, and 9 yards to go, and the Steelers bring the tight ends off the field and go to 4 wide. Mills and Johnson to the top of the screen, Hastings and Stone to the bottom. Tomczak out of the gun. With the flag down, Mills has the catch and is inside the 10 to about the 5-yard line. 25-yard pickup. We await the call.
Looked to me like the Steelers' offensive line jerked just a little bit. But what a great throw across his body by Tomczak.
Referee Tom White with the neutral zone infraction against the Dolphins.
Take a look right there. You can see Webster clearly in the neutral zone. Good call by the official. What a great play by Tomczak. Stepping up in the pocket, throwing across his body. Excellent athletic play by somebody who really hasn't had much time this season.
Good confidence-building opening drive for Tomczak and the Steelers. First and goal now inside the 4-yard line. And you see the numbers on Pittsburgh in the red zone this year. Triple tight end. Tomczak rolling and in trouble. Good play by number 55, Singleton, from the linebacker position.
And a bad play by Mike Tomczak there. You've got 1st and goal. It's a good call, play action pass to fool them. They're not fooled in this case. As a result, you're going to see from the outside, number 55 is going to come up and make the sack. At this particular point there, right there, nobody there, throw it out of the end zone. Get rid of it right now. Get rid of it. Instead, Singleton is able to make the sack. Now they come up 2nd and goal at the 11. Alters the play calling completely.
So they had pressure from the middle from Bowens, and Singleton was able to cash in. That'll make it 2nd down goal with the football at the 11-yard line. The 10-yard pickup. It will be 3rd down goal coming up.
This is really a poor job by the Miami defense. You had to know that they were going to come with some misdirection. How are you going to be fooled here on this? They're at the 11-yard line. It's goal to go. Jonathan Hayes, not normally a pass receiver. Look at how he lowers his shoulder and just runs right over the top of Adkins to get to the 1-yard line. Now the Steelers in great position to run the ball over.
Pretty strong head-up effort by Atkins, though, to keep Hayes out of the end zone and force the 3rd and goal. 2 of 2 on 3rd down conversions, both with Foster. Here he comes again. Good reaction against the running game this time by the Dolphins. Brian Cox coming upfield from middle linebacker to make the stop. And it will be 4th down from about the 2.
Bill Cowher thought about it for a little bit, and you can see that he said kick it, and I would agree with this here. Not only early in the game, but you want to make your stamp on the defense. You don't want to go some 70 yards and come away empty, but this is a bad call. You've been doing a great job getting upfield on the left side between the tackles. That's where they had asserted themselves. Remember earlier in the drive on the 3rd and short, they went between the tackles behind Love and Jackson for the 1st down. This time they try to go wide. Brian Cox is able to force it.
Gary Anderson looking for his 17th straight field goal of 1994. 23rd in a row over a 2-year span. Pittsburgh leads 3-0.
Key to the play here is the penetration of Bowens, and then Brian Cox here, who is unblocked and is able to make the play to the outside. Bowens comes upfield, pushes the play. Foster has no place to go. Cox makes the stuff. As I said earlier, they would have been better served to go between the tackles.
Steelers wound up going 14 plays, 68 yards, 7 minutes, 4 seconds. They wind up settling for the 19-yard field goal by Gary Anderson. You look at O'Donnell seated next to the man who replaced him as starting quarterback today, Mike Tomczak. And now as Gary Anderson prepares to kick, O.J. McDuffie and Irving Spikes wait at the 5-yard line for the Dolphins. And this is McDuffie. Saw a gap for a moment as he reached the 20, but wound up tumbling at the 25-yard line. Willie Williams with the stop. Dolphins will have the football for the first time when we come back.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Microsoft. Where do you want to go today? By Beechwood Aged Budweiser. It's always been true. This Bud's for you. By the all-new Chevy Blazer. Test drive it at your local Chevy dealer. And by DirecTV. Introducing personalized TV.
What was that picture behind our billboard, Todd? It was Dan Marino Field, a sandlot here in Pittsburgh where the Dolphin quarterback played his boyhood football, now named for him. First possession of the game for Miami. They begin from their 25, trailing 3-0. And the Dolphins, who would love to establish a running game, want that just as dearly as the Steelers, give DeParmley a gain of 3. Keith Sims, left guard, said to us yesterday, we've got to keep calling running plays if we want to establish that. We didn't do it last week against the Bears. Backs and receivers, and the focus is on Parmalee as he returns to full-time action. He played brilliantly early in the season, getting 100-yard games in sequence to help the Dolphins move forward. Craver and Williams come onto the field in 3rd down long situations. Now 2nd down, 7 to go. And Marino throws in the flat on a brilliant tackle by number 37, Carnell Lake. James Saxon, the fullback, is nailed. Defensively for the Steelers, a lot of big play players. All 3 of the other linebackers are better known, but Todd says that it is Chad Brown's versatility which allows the Steelers to be so flexible and unpredictable on defense. As they blitz, Dion Figures to winds up with a lot of man-on-man coverage, and he's got to handle it well for them to succeed. Willie Williams and Tim McIyer are the 5th and 6th defensive backs, and the Steelers go into the dime. And now it's 3rd down, 5 yards to go for Miami. And Marino's second throw of the game is caught for first down yardage by Irving Fryer. Figures was with Fryer, but the throw underneath, impossible to prevent.
It's asking an awful lot of Dion Figures. Just a slant route underneath. You see the top of the screen. Cuts underneath Lake and the receiver. Figures not only has to come over and make the play, but he has to cut through 2 bodies as well. Good throw by Marino and tough play to defense.
From the 35, the Dolphins with their first down of the game. Marino, AFC leader in passing efficiency, has his 3rd completion. Again, it's underneath. Keith Jackson, the tight end, stopped by Carnell Lake after a gain of about 4.
Keith Jackson flexed out here, is just going to find a little seam in the zone. Green comes to the outside, sits down, and the Steelers are all over it. But it's one of the things that the Dolphins are doing earlier is getting the ball in the hands of Keith Jackson and James Saxon, people that they have to have throughout the game. And so in getting them the ball early in the game, Jim, it keeps their interest.
Saxon didn't touch the ball against the Bears last week. Don Shula said we'll correct that. On 2nd down, Marino hits his man underneath. And number 81, O.J. McDuffie, has big yardage across midfield, a gain of 13, another first down for Miami. Levon Kirkland with the stop.
Well, this is the man they're counting on for some big plays. He has replaced Mark Ingram in the lineup. This is what's called a squat route. He just sits down in the zone, squats, then his speed enables him to make a little bit more of the play. He is somebody that both on punt returns and in receptions is somebody that they feel is their legitimate long-distance threat.
Into Steeler territory at the 47-yard line. It's a couple across the 45. Kevin Green made the stop for Pittsburgh.
Jim, the big matchup today, of course, is the Dolphin offense, number 1 in the National Football League, 382 yards per game, and the Steeler defense tops in the conference, allowing only 284. And, of course, in the case of the Dolphin offense, it's misleading. You know, when you read the articles, the paper down there, they keep saying, what's wrong with the offense? And you look and say, what do you mean what's wrong with it? It's number 1 in the National Football League. But the struggle has been inside the red zone, their inability to punch it in.
Number 95, Greg Lloyd, was on top of Marino as he tried to release there. And Dan now has his first incompletion of the game. He had started off 4 for 4, throwing to 4 different receivers.
Greg Lloyd is going to come from the left of your screen. Greg Lloyd with 8 sacks this season. The guard has to come out and get a piece of him. I don't think it's so much that he got blocked. I think the ball just slipped out of the hands of Marino. It's quite a tandem that they have there with Greg. See right there, you can see the ball just comes out badly. Quite a tandem with Kevin Green and Greg Lloyd.
Now it's 3rd down, 8 yards to go. Aaron Craver in the game as the 3rd down back for the Dolphins. They go to 4 wide receivers.
Here comes Woodson.
And with Woodson blitzing, Marino releases. It's going to be called incomplete off the hands of Mike Williams. But for 2 plays in a row, the Steelers were able to create pressure on Dan Marino.
The blitz by Rod Woodson is something that's asking an awful lot of the offensive line. Here, you're going to have the right guard is the one right here. The right guard is the one who has to come out and get Woodson, who's going to come off the corner. This is asking just a little bit too much. Watch Woodson now as he crawls up. The right guard has to come out. He's just not quick enough. That puts the pressure on Marino and changes the throw that he wants to make. He sidearms, and Williams couldn't come up with it.
Coming on to punt it away, it's Jim Arnold for the Dolphins. Woodson comes up to make the fair catch in traffic at the 17-yard line. 28-yard punt. Steelers lead 3-0 and will have it when we come back.
What we're trying to document here, right here at the side of the screen here is Rod Woodson. He's going to come in, and then right here is going to be Burt Widener trying to come out. Now Burt Widener has a little bit of a sprained ankle, and so this is a bit of a struggle. You saw Marino have to step up and alter his throw. Count on seeing a lot of that today.
And Woodson has been vocal on the sideline ever since making the fair catch on the 28-yard Arnold punt that has given the Steelers the football at their 16-yard line. possession for Pittsburgh. They went 68 yards in 14 plays the first time. Barry Foster with the football in a short gain. We go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Jim, at Foxborough, former Pittsburgh Steeler Leroy Thompson making news. He's on the receiving end of this touchdown pass from Drew Bledsoe. Good for 28 yards with the extra point. The Patriots have grabbed the lead on the Chargers. It's 7-0 New England in the first, Jim.
And you saw the numbers on Bledsoe there. 7 of 8 for 77 yards early against the San Diego Chargers. Second down, 10 yards to go after no gain on first down for Barry Foster. Tomzak gets away from one man. Flag falls. And scrambling out of the pocket, Tomzak gets it across the 20 to about the 23.
Dwight Hollier with the rush on the outside, and he gets absolutely tackled. That's going to come back for a hold. Dwight Hollier was the original starter at inside backer. He ended up getting hurt, number 50 for the Dolphins. Now they moved him to the outside. Last week, 8 tackles against the Chicago Bears, really asserting himself there in the linebacking core.
Yeah, that's a fascinating little evolution on the Dolphin defense as Cox has become the full-time middle linebacker after having gone there under emergency circumstances. Now, there's Hollier.
And that's number 22. You see John L. Williams just absolutely tackle him, and the official is not fooled.
22. Offense, half the distance to the goal from the previous spot. Still second down.
That was referee Tom White. A look at Williams as the football comes back now inside the 10 to the 8-yard line, where it'll be second down, 18 yards to go for the Steelers. After a hot start, Barry Foster has cooled off a little bit. Now shows 23 carries and 23 yards and 7 carries. With Williams in motion, Foster is left as the lone setback, gets the call on a draw, and will pad his yardage total just a little bit with 6 yards out to the 13, Dwight Hollier, and Brian Cox there to make the stop for the Dolphins.
Take a look at the block by John Jackson, the left tackle. Take a look at what left tackle is going to come out and do to Brian Cox. Take a look at the draw play. He pushes Coleman upfield. Now watch number 51 is going to come into the play. Watch number 65. You've heard of the definition of pancake? Pow! Take that. What a block by Jackson on Cox.
Steelers 2 of 3 on third down conversions as they come up to the line now for 3rd and 12. One time they failed was on 3rd and goal. Tomzak screens to John L. Williams. Williams trying to get back to the middle of the field, has no room, and the Steelers will be forced to punt it away. Craig Veazey reacting from his defensive line position to help Tyrone Braxton with the stop. It'll make it 4th down 12.
Well, Jim, Craig Veazey makes the tackle, but it's Brian Cox who makes the play. Watch number 51. He reads it completely. Watch him sprint out and see John L. Williams. He's the one that forces him back to the inside for Veazey to make the play. Brian Cox playing some good football early.
Mark Royals hangs it up short. It flirts with the sideline and goes out of bounds. It'll be in Steeler territory. So a good defensive sequence by the Dolphins, and they'll have field position when we come back. Stevenson. Bring it back to Three Rivers Stadium. 1 minute, 28 seconds remaining in the first period. And you look at Steeler offensive linemen along with assistant coach Kent Stevenson going over aerial pictures that show them the Dolphins' defensive alignment. Miami football just on their side of the 50 at the 49-yard line for the Dolphins' second possession of the game. And Dan Marino, having trouble communicating for the moment, gets the play away. Blitz. Dolphins pick it up. Downfield, the pass is picked off by number 99, Levon Kirkland, working against Jackson.
Dan Marino doesn't often lose his poise, Jim, but there he did. Carnell Lake comes up and fakes a blitz, and Dan Marino all of a sudden decides that he's going to go to an audible. Normally, that would be an advantage, but Levon Kirkland stayed right with Keith Jackson man for man. Here comes Lake. He knows he has man-for-man coverage, but there's no shake here. The ball is behind Levon Kirkland. Actually, look at what Jackson did. He actually helped him catch the ball. Kirkland turned around, and it stuck between his neck and number 99. Very good athletic play by that middle backer.
So that eliminates for the moment the big field position advantage that the Dolphins enjoyed after their excellent defensive sequence. Second interception of the year for Kirkland. First down 10 for Tomzak and the Steelers. Foster with a gain of about 5. Number 51, Brian Cox, again wrapped around the ball carrier.
Well, Brian Cox, it's fairly well documented. Outside backer, made the Pro Bowl 2 years ago with over 120 tackles and 13 sacks. By necessity, had to move to the inside this season. You see the numbers there in terms of tackles. But more than just the empirical evidence, Brian Cox has been outstanding as a leader, taking control of the defense of the Dolphins, and I doubt very much if he's going to go back to the outside the way he has played this season.
5 on first down by Foster. On second down, Tom Zach looks downfield and has Charles Johnson. Amid a horde of Dolphin tacklers, Troy Vincent on the coverage, 10-yard gain, first down Steelers.
This is what the 5-yard gain on first down does. You have to bunch it up. They have the 8 men up front, man coverage in the secondary. Charles Johnson able to establish a little more of a gap between himself and Troy Vincent. Run the deeper hook route, first down Steelers at the 45.
The rookie out of Colorado has come in for some criticism in the news media here. Having a moderately productive rookie year, but not the world beater that the Steelers had hoped he would be at the wide receiver position. First quarter comes to a close. Pittsburgh on its opening drive got a Gary Anderson field goal. The Steelers lead 3-0 after 1. Jim Lampley with Todd Christensen back in Three Rivers Stadium. You talk about how misleading statistics can be. Dolphins, the #1 ranked offense in the NFL, but they have just continued a pattern of failing to score a touchdown in the first quarter all year long.
Only 12 points in the first quarter in the entire season. They continue to start slowly. That can help them down the stretch. Don Shula really needs to rectify that problem. And one of the problems right now for the Miami defense is Chris Singleton starting outside backer. Looks like he sprained an ankle. We'll try and get a report on that. That means that rookie Aubrey Beavers is going to have to step into his place.
Meanwhile, the Steelers have the football. First down 10 at the Pittsburgh 46. Tom Zach falls, but gets it into the hands of Barry Foster, and Foster is a sitting duck for Beavers and a few other Miami tacklers. Let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Jim, at Cincinnati, a Bengals first quarter fumble proves costly. Marshall Faulk caps a drive from a yard out. His AFC leading 11th touchdown of the year. It's 7-0 Colts. Just over 2 minutes to play in the first. They lead the Bengals, Jim.
You know, Jim, a couple of years ago, that would have been a really dull game. You know, who cares? Cincinnati, Indianapolis. Now you've got Marshall Faulk. Now you've got the exciting kid, Jeff Blake. I mean, that's going to be, I predict there are going to be a lot of points in that ball game.
And Faulk scores a touchdown on the road. The pattern had been that they were all coming in the RCA Hoosier Dome. Injured player, he'll be back in a moment.
Thanksgiving Day on NFL Live. We'll talk with former college teammates Thurman Thomas of the Bills and Barry Sanders of the Lions, about to face each other on the big day. Plus, Buffalo's defensive superstar Bruce Smith. A special Thanksgiving Day helping of NFL Live, Thursday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on NBC.
One of the things the Dolphins can ill afford is any more injuries to the defensive line. Take a look at the left leg right here of Larry Webster. Bent back, you can see, look at how the foot is stuck. We'll get a report on him a little bit later.
J.B. Brown on the coverage there against Ernie Mills, as the Steelers tried to go deep from the 45-yard line, and now it will be third down. 11 yards to go for a Steeler first down.
Twice now Mike Tomczak has picked on J.B. Brown, and he flat out said that was what they're going to do. Twice he has come up empty, and on both occasions it could have been picked.
The injured player for the Dolphins was defensive end Larry Webster. He, for the moment, leaves the field, and the Dolphins now must go with an inside defensive lineman, either Craig Beasy or William Gaines, moving to the unusual position of defensive end. Tomczak on third down the middle to Charles Johnson. Big play by the rookie as he stretches toward the chain. Frankie Smith there to cover for the Dolphins.
Notice the side judge, Jim, when he came in, he went for the reach. The side judge wasn't going to have any of it. He said, no, that's where you're down, and they're going to come up short. Fourth and about a half yard. That's one of the few times, though, Johnson ran a great route. To the right of your screen, normally he runs the out route when you have three on the side. This time he runs the swirl, which is where you come back in on the crossing route, trying to reach across, but the official wouldn't give it to him. Now they're going to go for it.
And the crowd approves as Bill Cowher elects to go for it, sending 4 tight ends into the game. Green, Hayes, Keith, and Rasby, all 4 Steeler tight ends on the field. Foster
didn't get it.
Tim Bowens
Didn't get it.
Rookie defensive tackle for the Dolphins, who has been sensational against the run all season, stuffing Foster there.
Well, remember earlier, Jim, we mentioned the fact that when they got down to the goal line, it didn't work either. Watch the penetration here by number 95. Look at him push up the field, just sliding through and just stuffing Foster. Great play by Bowens. Now, 2 huge plays, one to prevent the touchdown, force a field goal, now to reestablish field position for the Dolphins now at the 46.
At the moment, playing as well against the run as any defensive tackle in the National Football League.
And there's the man who did it for so many years for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Joe Green, now Tim Bowens' coach for the Miami Dolphins.
On first down, Marino throws down the middle. It's complete as McDuffie works against figures. It'll be a 16-yard gain and a Dolphin first down in Steeler territory.
Well, the Dolphins have not bothered to establish the run, but they certainly established the credibility of O.J. McDuffie here early. Nice catch, the ball thrown behind him, coming back for the ball, former Penn Stater, making a nice grab in front of Deion Figures.
Larry Webster, Dolphin defensive end, we're told has an ankle sprain and is questionable as far as returning to the game is concerned. Jeff Cross didn't make the trip. Dolphins are now shorthanded at defensive end. On first down, it is to Parmalee, and Parmalee finds a hole and a gain of about 6. Deion Figures making the stop from the cornerback position.
And remember Keith Sims last night, Jim, the left guard for the Miami Dolphins, number 69, was not vocal, I would say vociferous about the point of saying we need to establish the run because it's just too easy when things go badly to assume that number 13 is going to bail us out. Let's stay with the run, get the balance, will be that much more effective.
They had only 19 running plays last week. As Sims told us, the offensive lineman feel the dividing line is 30. They must run the ball 30 or more times to have the best chance to win. Marino on second down throws onto the turf in front of McDuffie. Good coverage by the Steelers.
It was good coverage, but again, I have to question the play calling. You come up 2nd and 4, you've run the ball effectively, give it another shot. Then if you can come up 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, that's when your play action passing is going to be that much more effective.
Keith Sims probably noticed as well.
Marino 5 for 9 at this point for 42 yards.
Throwing underneath.
Exactly.
Dime defense on the field for the Steelers, looking for the pass on 3rd down and a short pull. Marino gets it to Irving Fryer, and Fryer splitting the seam against the Steelers has first down yardage before Darren Perry makes the stop.
Point here, Jim, is that you mentioned at the top with regards to Deion Figures, because they're going to go with the blitz, he's going to have to do the job in man-for-man coverage. For whatever reason, he was caught back on his heels there. Terrible start by number 21. Fryer catches him off guard with the slant route. Marino gets him the ball. Thus far, Figures has really struggled in coverage.
14-yard gain, Marino to Fryer, and they've got it first down now at the 16-yard line. Dolphins trail 3-0. Parmalee. And number 97 is Ray Seals from defensive end, stuffing the play for the Steelers.
A couple of weeks ago against the Houston Oilers, Ray Seals had 3 sacks, a tremendous game. He fights off the block, and this is how they teach it. Head up, face in the numbers, brings him down.
Kevin Green there to help out as well. It will be 2nd down, 9 yards to go. The football just inside the 15-yard line.
One of the big arguments here in Pittsburgh is what they lack is a big play defensive lineman, but Ray Seals has really filled the bill here, at least up to this point in the season for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Scoreboard says 2nd and 8 as they credit 2 yards for the Dolphins. Marino just gets the play away and throws it off the hands of Woodson near the 5-yard line. Intended receiver was McDuffie again.
This is one of the most difficult things for a defensive back to cover because the angle is in the favor of the offensive person, but Woodson cuts off the angle and just can't quite hold on.
What a pick that would have been.
He's just a tremendous athlete, one of the 2 or 3 best athletes in the National Football League. You think he should have been on the 75-year team?
Well, that's a tough call. Lynn Barney wasn't on there, was he?
No.
That one I've got to wonder about.
All right.
And Marino needs timeout as the Dolphins come up to the line on 3rd down.
This is what Pittsburgh does so well, though, Jim, is that they can confuse you. They come with people from all sorts of different angles, and that's one of the things that troubled Marino. That's why he called the timeout.
It's only a movie, except on a Sony big screen TV.
Oh, good. Something romantic.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Toyota, who invites you to experience the tranquility of the all-new Avalon. By Little Caesars Pizza, where you always get 2 great pizzas for 1 low price. By American Airlines, something special in the air. And by the Norelco Razors, our closest shave ever.
As we bring it back to Three River Stadium, the Miami Dolphins with 3rd down 8 at the Pittsburgh 14-yard line, trailing 3-0, 10:45 in the second quarter. And Marino loses the football under pressure. And Chad Brown, number 94 of the Steelers, was the man who was there to help force it out of Marino's hands, and Pittsburgh recovers the ball.
Remember, Jim, at the top of the show, you mentioned that Chad Brown's versatility is one of the reasons why they're able to do the numerous blitzes that they do. Inside backer, leading tackler, rushes from the left side. Watch to the right of your screen. Number 94 is going to come in and strip the ball away. Just takes the ball right out of the hands of Marino. Kevin Green knocks him down. Greg Lloyd is the one who scrambles in, gets on top for the recovery.
Another look. Watch for Brown, number 94. There he is.
Takes the ball right away.
So another big play by the Steeler defense. And Tom Zach and company get it back. That's a good play. Barry Foster has a gain of about 13 on 1st down. J.B. Brown making the stop for the Dolphins. Let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Jim, Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Mark Rippon getting the starting job at quarterback today. Loses the handle on 3rd and goal at the Chiefs' 5. They fail to cash in on a golden opportunity. The Browns and the Chiefs have gone to the second quarter scoreless. Jim?
All right, thanks very much, Greg. Ripping off to the slow start, 1 for 7. On 1st down, Steelers, Tom Zach to Charles Johnson. 3rd catch of the game already for Johnson. Brian Cox makes the stop for the Dolphins. And Charles Johnson begins to become more active for the Steelers.
And Jim, I believe that's about the 3rd time or maybe even the 4th that they've thrown on 1st down. Uncharacteristic of the Pittsburgh Steelers, but Mike Tomczak said that this was something that they wanted to do to keep the Dolphin defense off balance, and that's what they've been doing.
I said 3, make it 4 catches already for 38 yards for Johnson. This time an 8-yard gain. It's 2nd down 2. Clock rolling, 9:26 to go in the half. Vincent locked up on Johnson this time. Foster gets the call inside and will be stacked up. Tough to run the middle against the Dolphins now that Bowens is coming into his own.
Well, at 6'4" and 317 pounds, you know, there are a lot of 300-pound guys, Jim, in the National Football League. It's not just a matter of being 317, but he roots his way in there. And how much better of a teacher can you have than this man? 75-year all-time team member at defensive tackle, as well as a Hall of Famer, Joan Green, former Pittsburgh Steeler. His experience and teaching ability have been invaluable at number 95.
On 3rd down, short yardage, Foster again with the football and may not have picked up the 1st down. Chuck Klingbeil this time with his lateral quickness reacting over to make the stop for Miami.
Very strange that Foster's been able to run the ball so well on 2nd downs and in some of the times earlier in the middle of the field. Now every time that they've come up with short yardage, they have really struggled.
On 4th and short near midfield, last time the Steelers had the football, they went for the 1st down and were stopped by Bowens and the Dolphins.
I think they're short. No, I guess not.
Just got it. So at their own 46, it'll be Pittsburgh 1st down.
It would have been interesting to see, as you mentioned, whether or not they would have gone for it on 4th, but of course it's a moot point now. The interest to me has been they're throwing on 1st down. Interesting to see here what they'll decide to do.
Johnson in motion. Fake reverse. Foster screen. Lamonte Dawson in front. Dolphins are able to make the the play. Michael Stewart up strong and forcing from strong safety.
That's a great play by Michael Stewart. They really had it set up well off the fake reverse and the screen left. Watch, the flow is going to go to your right, and everybody's assuming reverse. Now he looks right, comes back. Watch, 35 is going to come into your screen. He's going to fight off the block of Jermani Dawson and make the tackle on Foster. Great play by Stewart.
The former Ram out of Fresno State struggled early in the season for the Dolphins. He and Gene Atkins, both brand new at safety for Miami, beginning to mesh now. Second down, Tom Zach throws between defenders to Eric Green. And Green, hampered by a hamstring injury, makes the catch as Beavers and Stewart are nearby.
Little discussion there between Green and Stewart, but Green is trying to get the crowd involved.
First down yardage to the Miami 43. And there goes Chris Singleton. We told you about the loss of Larry Webster at defensive end. Earlier, Singleton had hurt the left foot or ankle. And that means that Aubrey Beavers will be going the rest of the way at outside linebacker. Foster again. And Bowens again. Can't say enough about this guy, Todd. I guess that Aaron Glenn of the Jets would be the other big-time AFC candidate for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Well, here he is right here, and for whatever reason, Dawson Love just can't seem to do anything with him. Look, the block down in this case was Jackson, and he failed to hold him at all. And that's surprising because Jackson comes from the blind side, didn't phase Bowens at all, ran right through him, tackle for loss.
Green still vocal from the sideline. Last night, Tim Bowens told us that he's pretty good against the run, but a miserable pass rusher. I have a feeling he was parroting the words of his coach, Joe Green. On second down, Tom Zach throws to Foster, and Foster had to reach behind him to make the catch, making it easy for Brian Cox to wrap him up.
And he wasn't thinking there either. He'd been better suited on his knees to drop the ball, because now that's a loss of about 6 yards, and it's going to force him into a third and very long.
And if you're looking closely, you notice that 79 Webster is back on the field at defensive end for the Dolphins. He may have to play hurt given the absence of defensive ends. Marco Coleman is the only remaining defensive end for Miami if Webster can't go. And as we mentioned, they'd be moving Gaines and/or Veazey to the outside. Third down, 15. Steelers are 3 of 6 on third downs to this point. Picked off. Nope, they're going to call it a non-catch. John L. Williams was the intended receiver. And it was Chris Green who almost came up with the football.
Mike Tomczak steps up in the pocket. Take a look at the coverage by the Dolphins. They're all over it. They're all over it. Great coverage. So you can see the ball hitting right there on the ground. The official right on top of it.
So now Mark Royals comes on to punt the football away for Pittsburgh as Cowher discusses that perhaps indiscreet throw with Tomczak on the sideline.
And this is where Royals is particularly effective. 28 punts inside the 20. That leads the National Football League, but not here. He's going to get another touchback.
We've got 5 minutes and 9 seconds remaining before halftime. Pittsburgh leads 3-0.
Nothing's more American on Thanksgiving Day than the NFL on NBC. Buffalo battles Detroit as two great running backs, Thurman Thomas of the Bills and Barry Sanders of the Lions, go head-to-head. A Thanksgiving Day tradition at a special time, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
A football feast, Thanksgiving Day on NBC.
Three Rivers Stadium. Terrific day in Pittsburgh. Not a great day for Neil O'Donnell. Sidelined by injury today as Mike Tomczak starts and has gone all the way so far at quarterback for the Steelers. Now Dan Marino and the Dolphins, trailing 3-0, have the football at their 20 after a touchback on a Mark Royals punt. Parmalee gets past two men and picks up 9 yards. It'll be second down short for the Dolphins. Quickly, we break to New York, and Greg Gumbel in our studio.
Jim, in Kansas City, the Chiefs are riddled with injuries today, but Joe Montana having a good afternoon. 6 of 7 for 57 yards on this drive, including the 6-yard touchdown pass to Tracy Green with the extra point. The Chiefs lead the Browns 7-0 in the second.
Saw Montana 11 of 13 at the start. That compares to Mark Rippon, 1 of 7. His opposite number for the Browns. Brian Cox waits on the sideline as the Dolphins go on second and short. And Bernie Parmalee has first down yardage before Carnell Lake makes the stop for Pittsburgh.
Carnell Lake is asked to do so much for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Support the run at strong safety. When they play the teams like, say, Houston, who still has a little bit of the run and shoot, he has to cover the wide receivers. And, of course, along with Rod Woodson, he's one of the great blitzers from the secondary. Carnell Lake, a great overall versatile football player in that secondary for Pittsburgh.
Dolphins 1st and 10. Parmalee again. Levon Kirkland can't hold on, and Parmalee gets away for a gain of a couple before Joel Steed makes the stop. If we can come back to the subject of Lake just for a moment, you look at Levon Kirkland. Lake was a linebacker in college who's become a strong safety in the NFL. UCLA has another player almost identical in talent named Donnie Edwards right now, a 217-pound linebacker, double figures in sacks this year, may become a strong safety in the NFL. Second down 8 from the Miami 34. Marino hits Parmalee, and Parmalee's speed a factor there as he gets across midfield into Pittsburgh territory at the 47 before Rod Woodson ran him out of bounds. 19-yard gain, perfectly executed throw and catch.
Pittsburgh came with a blitz. What you're going to see, number 39 from the right is Darren Perry. The throw here is tremendous. So many times when the quarterback throws out into the flat like that, he throws behind the runner. He gave Parmalee a chance to run. He leads him perfectly. Parmalee with a big game, but what a tremendous throw by Marino.
And now Parmalee temporarily out of the game. You see the brace on his right knee. So as Parmalee leaves, number 40 Irving Spikes comes on at tailback for Miami. And that's a bit of a change of pace. He's much more of a water bug than is Parmalee. Fake to Spikes. Marino wants to go all the way downfield. And it's Irving Fryer who is dropped at the 1-yard line by Woodson. And they burned Rod Woodson on the deep throw.
One of the problems that Rod Woodson has is that from time to time he buys into the play fake. Watch Fryer when he comes up. Now what's Rod Woodson doing? He doesn't turn around because he's looking in the backfield. That's a no-no for a defensive back. And once again, Marino puts it right on the mark. Tremendous throw to Irving Fryer, who is having an outstanding season.
They marked the football just outside the 2, a 45-yard catch by Fryer. He had a career-high 9 receptions last week. Parmalee back in the game at tailback on 1st and goal for Miami. And the side judge is going to say that Dan Marino did not get the play started before the 2-minute warning. So no penalty against Miami. It's not delay of game. It is the 2-minute warning, and we'll be back. At first down, goal to go at the 2-yard line. Set up by a 45-yard completion. Dan Marino to Irving Fryer. Bernie Parmalee gets the call. And the Steeler defense is there and waves. Ray Seals made the first hit. Levon Kirkland there as well.
Rod Woodson is the one that got toasted on that play. He made this comment about how receivers are picking up their game against him. And in the past, he was able just to gear up for the Rices and the Irvins, he says. But now every week people are trying to pick on him. Well, he certainly had to consider this man because this man has been having an outstanding year. So far today, 3 catches for 66 yards, second in the AFC in receiving yardage.
He's got almost 900 yards on the season now, coming in with 829. And now Marino needs to use his second time out. So the Dolphins will have 1 TO remaining as they face second down goal from the 3-yard line. We'll be back in just a moment. Jim Lafley and Todd Christensen with you from Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. Steelers got a field goal on their opening drive of the game, lead 3-0 now with halftime looming. Dolphins on second and goal. And Marino completes for a touchdown to Keith Jackson.
What a great throw. What a great throw. And I say that, Jim, because everybody knew they had to go play action on second down. Because if you get to third down and play action, you're not going to fool anybody. They have the 3 tight end set. Chad Brown is step for step with Keith Jackson. He just throws an absolute laser. What a throw by Marino.
And now Stojanovic will come on to try to add the extra point. Marino, over 20 touchdown passes for the 11th time in his career. That's an NFL record. Jackson, maybe he's not as effective in other parts of the field as he used to be, Todd, but he is still a tremendous goal line receiver. Stoyanovich out of Arnold's hold is good. Dolphins take a 7-3 lead with 1 minute 14 seconds remaining in the half. Flag down. Flag down on the PAT.
The extra point is good. We have both sides. Number 26 on the defense, lined up in the neutral zone. That 5-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Watch number 88, Keith Jackson. All he's going to do is run a flat route. Chad Brown is going to have him man for man. This play action, if you'll notice, doesn't fool anybody, but Marino gets it out so quickly that there's nothing they can do about it. Watch how quick the ball gets there. Whew, right there. Brown is right there, but there's nothing he can do about it. He puts it in a place that Brown can't get it.
Could have tried for Saxon in the end zone if he hadn't wanted to go to Jackson.
Right there. Look how quick the ball gets there. It's just amazing. I mean, you know, there's a temptation to say that there's nobody else in the league that could have made that throw, but I'm sitting here thinking to myself, maybe 2 or 3 others. I don't know, but certainly Marino is one of the few that could have got it in there.
Aikman, Young, Elway, maybe, maybe not.
They don't have that quicker release. And I asked him about that one time. I said, is that something that you've worked on? He said, nope. He said, that's a genetic gift. It's just there.
7 plays, 80 yards, 3 minutes 55 seconds for the Dolphins. They pay it off in a 2-yard touchdown pass from Marino to Keith Jackson. And now Miami in position to hold the initiative at 7-3 at halftime if they can blunt this upcoming Steeler possession. Don Shula trying to get his team to 8-3 to assure a 23rd 500 or better record in 25 years as head coach of the Dolphins. Whitestone waits near the goal line. Steelers gave up 5 yards on this kickoff as the result of Rod Woodson's offside penalty on the extra point.
Big issue here is whether or not this man, Bill Cowher, is going to give Mike Tomczak the opportunity to run the 2-minute offense. Quarterback who hasn't played much of this season. You have to wonder if Ron Earhart and offensive company are going to give it a shot here, if they're going to be content to run out the half only down by 4.
Stojanovich's kick from the 35, not the 30. Stone takes it at the 2. Pretty good blocking by the Steelers, and Dwight is across the 30 to the 31. A flag down is there. 29-yard return by Stone. Referee Tom White prepares to activate his slightly static-afflicted microphone one more time.
I wonder if the field position is going to dictate this, Jim, because you figure you start at the 31-yard line. Basically, then you only have to go about 30 yards to get in position for a field goal. But now I'm not so sure.
Holding, number 80. During the return, 10 yards, first down.
My apologies to the audio department. They've eliminated that static. It was Charles Davenport who drew the penalty. And coming up at halftime, NFL Live halftime report. Greg Gumbel, Mike Ditka, and Joe Gibbs bring you up to date with scores and highlights of all the action from around the NFL, plus a conversation with the Bills' Darryl Talley, all coming up on the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. 4 wide receivers on the field for Steelers as they go first down at their 19. Tomczak improvising on the fly, throws in front of J.B. Brown, intended for Mills. Crowd wanted interference, no flag forthcoming.
So did Mike Tomczak. It appeared from our vantage point, Jim, that J.B. went right through the man. You see Tomczak shaking his head. He's not quite so sure. Watch number 37 here at the top of your screen. Watch, does he play the man, does he play the ball? Well, right there, he's right on top of him. You hear the reaction of the crowd booing because they saw the replay too. That certainly could have been called. J.B. Brown, though, Jim, having an outstanding first half, in particular when you mentioned the fact that Tomczak said he's going to pick on him.
Second down 10 from the 19, 4 wide again. Easy on top of Tomczak as he releases. It's number 22, John L. Williams, and Williams is near the first down, out close to the 30-yard line. Gene Atkins making the stop for the Dolphins. 50 seconds remaining. Steelers with all 3 of their timeouts left on the board.
Just used one of them.
Just used one. Make it 2. And as Bill Cowher gets ready to make a choice, along with offensive coordinator Ron Earhart, we remind you tonight, Tim Curry is in control of the planet's creatures. and he's using them against the colonists on an exciting all-new Earth 2. And killer weeds from the deep are choking the life out of the crew on an all-new Sequest. Then Robin Cook's new bestseller comes to NBC. Joanna Kearns and Gregory Harrison starring in the world premiere of Mortal Fear. It's all new tonight, starting at 7, 6 Central here on NBC. Earth 2, Sequest, and Robin Cook's Mortal Fear tonight on NBC.
Mike Tomczak, to be truthful, I was surprised. I really thought that they were going to run out the clock, especially after the penalty starting at the 19-yard line. But evidently, Bill Cowher on Earhart Field, that Tomczak can do the job and get him down the field. They have their full wide receiver set.
And Williams did move the chain, picking up a first down on the screen pass. So now it's 1st and 10 Steelers from just inside their 30. Tomczak looking deep for Charles Johnson. Chris Green there on the coverage. And for a second time, Green had his hands on the football, couldn't quite hold on for the interception.
This is what we're seeing a lot now in the National Football League. Guys are covered, but they're just going to throw it up and depend on their athletic ability. Charles Johnson comes downfield. They have him in bracket coverage. He is covered here by Chris Green, but they feel with his athletic ability he might come up and make the play. There he made the leap and timed it exactly right, but he was just a little bit short of the ball. Those who follow football closely, of course, will remember that now you see this a lot with Jerry Rice, Alvin Harper. You've seen plays like this throughout the season where even though the guy's covered, they're going to throw it up, take a chance.
2nd down 10. Again with 4 wide receivers. Tomczak throws, and Johnson almost makes an athletic play for the completion.
Well, the one thing Tomczak certainly can't complain about is the time he's had to throw. He's had a lot of time to throw. He just throws his ball too high. Johnson going up. That's some excellent hops, and he can't retain it.
Excellent hops?
Yeah, that's an Ahmad Rashad colloquialism in the NBA. Hops, meaning to jump.
You taking that directly from Ahmad, or there are other sources?
Yeah, my oldest son, who's a big basketball guy. That's where that comes from, too.
Steelers a 3 out of 7 on 3rd down. It is 3rd and 10 now. Need to get the football almost to the 40-yard line. Tomczak's throw is caught by Charles Johnson across the 45 to the 47. Frankie Smith with the stop. 17-yard gain, and another athletic play by the rookie wide receiver out of Colorado.
And Tomczak, the smart quarterback, turns right to the official and calls timeout. Deep in route requiring the time. Vincent lets him go. They have him in the zone. He finds his way between. Nice catch, too. That's a difficult catch in the middle because you know you're going to get whacked.
Charles Johnson, 5 catches for 56 yards today, on his way to what might become his most productive day yet as a Steeler wideout.
And I think that that's got to do a lot for his confidence, Jim. As we mentioned, he has been taking a little bit of the abuse from the press and some others, not fulfilling expectations. In fairness to him, this offense is not one that's generated to get the ball to the wideouts a lot. If he continues to have that level of productivity, look for Tomczak and O'Donnell to look for his number more often. Confidence factor, Jim, is mutual. The quarterback can't have any confidence unless you come up with the throws, and as a result, if the receiver knows that he's not going to get the ball, his confidence remains too.
29 seconds to halftime. Ball at the Steeler 47. Tomczak. All the time in the world. He finds Johnson in the middle of the field, inside the Dolphin 40 to about the 37 before Michael Stewart made the stop. 21-yard pickup, 6th catch of the day for Charles Johnson.
You have to question Tom Olivadotti here in terms of what he's done during this drive. That time he went with a 3-man rush, and what that does when they go with the so-called waggle, which is where you roll out to the right. Take a look, they're only rushing 3 people. Look at the time that Tomczak has. The routes now are completely done, they're completely broken. This is asking an awful lot of people to be able to go man for man all over the field if the quarterback has that much time to search it out. Johnson was able to break his pattern on 2 different occasions there to find the seam and set him up at the 31.
16 seconds left before halftime. Steeler place kicker Gary Anderson, over the course of last season and this season, has converted 23 consecutive field goal tries. His field goal at the beginning of the game today was a 19-yard chip shot. Mike Tomczak, 14 out of 21 for 140 yards in this first half of action. to start today ahead of the injured Neil O'Donnell. First down from the 31.
Oh, man, would that have been a fabulous catch.
Chris Green there on the coverage for the Dolphins.
And is it my imagination here, Jim, or is this turning into a Brett Favre, Sterling Sharp thing? I only have eyes for you. Wow. Almost came up with a little bit off balance. Green comes over to knock him off.
Well, since he wears 81, why don't we call it a Jeff Hostetler, Tim Brown thing?
There you go. All right.
Where the syndrome is just as prevalent. Gary Anderson now with a 48-yard field goal try, trying to make it 24 in a row, and he does. 18 straight this year, 24 straight over the course of last season and this. It narrows the Dolphin lead to 7-6.
Jim, he's only had one miss this season, and he has been outstanding throughout his career, a native of South Africa. Take a look at what he has done throughout his career in percentage. Number 5 all time. In fact, number 4 is in this game as well, Pete Stoyanovich. But look at that, 78.6 in his career. Interesting point here as you look at these incredible numbers is that you've got guys in the Hall of Fame, kickers like Lou Groza and George Blanda, who are just a little bit over 50%. That shows how far we have come in terms of the kicking game and how vital it is to the success of the team.
Stoyanovich on the opposite side of the field. His game-tying field goal attempt against the Bears last week was blocked. A memory he'd like to erase with a big day today. Anderson giggling to himself about the 48-yarder that he just nailed. And coming up at halftime, we'll take you directly to New York for the NFL Live Domino's Pizza halftime report, or the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. Gumbel, Ditka, Gibbs, conversation with the Bills' Darryl Talley.
They're absolutely hammering the Packers. Last I saw it was 24-zip.
We're looking ahead to the Bills on Thanksgiving Day. Steal a scoring drive, 8 plays, 50 yards. It took 1 minute and 8 seconds. 304th field goal of Gary Anderson's career ties him for 4th place on the all-time list. The kickoff and the scramble. There's 1 second remaining on the clock.
Boy, wait a minute. Is that a hometown operator that only took 6 seconds to ricochet and scrambling for the ball? Because you figure that Pittsburgh...
Wonder if that one will disappear now that Miami has recovered the football.
I mean, that certainly took more than 6 seconds to scramble around for that ball. You see Bobby April there, special teams coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, doing an outstanding job this year. That was certainly a problem area for the Steelers in 1993.
Todd, the man who's down for the Dolphins is reserve tight end Greg Beatty. Perhaps more significantly than his role as reserve tight end, he's the punt snapper who snaps the football to Jim Arnold. So if they lose him, Jeff Dellenbach would probably have to take over his duties as the punt snapper.
Well, he's the one that it ricocheted off, and he's sprinting up trying to make the play. Watch his head, the collision right there. Ouch. Collision head to head with, I can't quite make out the number of the Steeler, but you could see that was a collision of helmets.
Now it looks like Beatty is worried more about his left hand, and there's Dellenbach, who would add punt snapping duties to his regular duty as the field goal and place kick snapper.
Well, Greg Beatty had retired. He'd called it quits. He was out working a video store in Northern California when he got the call to come back and be the third tight end and snap for punts, and it just goes to show how crucial these people are, Jim. You make a very good point. I believe with the exception of Bruce Matthews for the Houston Oilers, and there might be one or two others, basically your snapper is not somebody that plays. That's how exclusive that role is and how important it is.
Indeed, the combination of punt or place kick snapper and reserve tight end is an increasingly popular one, huh?
Well, I snapped for punts for 4 years.
But you were a starter.
No, first 3 of those I wasn't a starter. And then for whatever reason they wouldn't get me off of it.
1 second on the clock. Marino takes a knee, and that'll do it. Tightly played first half. Dolphins with the only touchdown. Gary Anderson with 2 field goals for the Steelers. The Dolphin touchdown was set up by a 45-yard Marino to Fryer pass that burned all-star defensive back Rod Woodson. We'll be back with the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report after this.
first half was 14 for 22. Who would have thought that they'd have thrown the ball 22 times in one half? But a lot of that, I think, is the play of that young man in stuffing the run in crucial situations.
Squib kick to begin the second half. Picking it up for the Dolphins is reserve tight end Ronnie Williams. He doesn't get to touch the football very often. He gets it back across the 40 before Steve Avery makes the stop for the Steelers. The numbers on Marino, 10 of 15, 132. Much of the yardage on the 45-yard shot to Fryer.
Now, what I don't understand this, the need for a squib kick. It's not as if the Dolphins have been so effective in returning the ball. Now, look what they do. They set them up between the 42 and the 43. That's a real special teams mistake by the Steelers.
Do you think it was intentional or perhaps a cold top on Anderson's part?
Well, if it was intentional, it was very ineffective because now you shorten the field for somebody who you want to lengthen it for, that being number 13.
Marino gives to Bernie Parmalee. Parmalee had a relatively slow first half. Gets a gain of about 4 here before Greg Lloyd makes the stop. Parmalee in the first half, 7 carries for 18 yards. And here he's credited for 3. It'll be second down 7. Top 5 rushers for the Dolphins.
And of course, Parmalee is the man. You can see there it says injured, but of course that was heading into this game. They have struggled. You really have to give the offensive line for the Dolphins credit. Coming into this game, they have been rushing for 117 yards a game, regardless of who is behind them. So they really have done a good job of establishing the line of scrimmage.
Lloyd blitzing. Marino gets the football away to James Saxon. But Saxon is met and dropped on an excellent tackle by Carnell Lake.
That's what's known as a hot route because Greg Lloyd is going to come in completely untouched. Watch the left of your screen, number 95 comes in and nobody touches him. That's the idea. Saxon is the man normally who would get it, but he comes out on the hot route. Carnell Lake puts him to the ground. That is where they really miss Keith Byers, Jim. Keith Byers, 49 catches before he went out for the year with the knee injury. He could make some things happen in the short passing game, turning 2- and 3-yard gains into 10.
Dolphins spent much of the week working on adjusting their routes for situations like that. You saw how shallow Saxon had to be. Third down, the give is to Aaron Craver. And with a rare opportunity to make a big play, Craver converts to a first down for the Dolphins. 13-yard carry. Darren Parry on the stop.
Gary Stevens, offensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins, has really taken a lot of abuse, Jim, for some of his play calling, but that was an outstanding call there. No way the Steelers thought that they were going to run in that situation. Aaron Craver cut earlier in the season, came back, gets the underneath handoff there. You see him, coordinator and quarterback coach. Great call there on 3rd and 4.
Now first down from the 39-yard line. Remember, the Dolphins started at their own 42. Marino drops it and must fall on the football, so it'll be a loss of a couple and second down 12. Kevin Green was there to cover Marino.
And that's a gift sack for Kevin Green. Kevin Green coming into this game with 10 sacks.
AFC leader.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. When you see that situation where the quarterback falls down, watch in a hurry he is to get there and touch him, knowing that he's going to get it. Look at this, look at this. All of a sudden, quick. That's my sack, that's my sack.
And the official statistician is going to rule it a running play, Todd, no sack.
Oh, that's foolish. You knew that he was fading back to pass.
Kevin Green doesn't get credit for a sack. Second down, 13. And Marino throws complete to Fryer. Another big play from Irving Fryer. Darren Parry makes the stop, but Irving is inside the 15 to the 13.
And once again, they pick on Dion Figure's side. Watch the top of your screen, you're going to see him come down, but they're in a zone coverage. He's going to bump him to the inside, but he doesn't stay with him. Chad Brown cuts to the outside, and that creates the seam for Marino, and a good job of running with the ball after he makes the catch.
They mark it at the 14-yard line. It's a 19-yard pickup. Marino to Fryer. You look at figures. Under pressure to provide tight man coverage today so that his teammates can blitz and freelance as they love to do. Parmalee, met behind the line of scrimmage, tries to fight forward, but Greg Lloyd there to make a big play for the Steeler defense. And that is Irving Fryer.
I wonder if that's a cramp. This isn't the kind of day where you think you'd get cramps. 50 degrees. It is a little bit humid, but clearly he's in some pain.
11 years ago, he was the first player picked in the draft by the New England Patriots. He's one of those refugees from the Parcells regime in New England and has found new life in Miami, particularly who's playing well this year.
Only receiver in history to be the first pick of an entire draft.
On second and long, Marino looks and overthrows in the end zone. intended for number 87, Mike Williams. Dion Figures was there on the coverage for the Steelers.
Now you're put in a situation here, 3rd and 10. This is where you're going to see the Steelers probably take some chances with some offbeat blitzes. This is where Dan Marino has to be aware of the fact that they could be coming from all angles. And Bill Cowher, a former defensive coordinator, along with Dom Capers, the current defensive coordinator, they put together plans, special things for great quarterbacks like Dan Marino. That's Capers and your screen.
Nickel package in on 3rd down 11. Marino sidearm.
Oh, what a throw!
Keith Jackson, he's going to be short of the first down.
Yeah, he's going to be short of the first down, but what a throw! A little Dan Quisenberry, a little Ted Abernathy, if you believe in that.
Here in Pittsburgh, it's Kent Tekulve.
Thank you. You are absolutely right. Kevin Green on the rush, breaks down the pocket, spreads out, forces Marino to go with the submarine throw. Keith Jackson in on the 4 wide receiver package, just bumps in, runs into Woodson, but Woodson understands where the first down is. He'll give it up in front of him. That's exactly what he did, forcing the field goal.
Strong tackle by Woodson and Perry. Stoyanovich on. Try for the field goal from 34 yards out. Trying to pad the Dolphin lead to 4. And Stoyanovich, like his opposite number, Gary Anderson, one of the most accurate kickers in the history of the league, nails the field goal. Dolphins stretch it to 10-6.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by American Honda, who's been making quality automobiles in America for the past 12 years. By Energizer batteries, still going. Long-lasting Energizer batteries keep going and going. By Domino's Pizza. Call now and ask for our football special. It's gotta be Domino's. And by ITT, building businesses into leaders.
What's that, Dan?
Yeah. I'm using.
We are back in Three Rivers Stadium, and you see on the Dolphins sideline, Irving Fryer, so fundamental to their offense today, walking back and forth with trainer help, and now Fryer begins to walk under his own power, and whatever it is that has been bothering him, he may be shaking it off now, possible return to the game down the road.
I'm guessing here, but I have a hunch it is a cramp. What ends up happening is that you get so locked up that you need some help, and he was being helped around. Now he's under his own power. If he can get some fluids in, he could be back.
Stoyanovich kicks. Ernie Mills tries to handle it, fumbles it out of bounds, and that will leave the Steelers inside their 15 at the 14-yard line.
We mentioned the skill of the quarterback, and we made reference, Jim and I, but we'll give you a chance to take a look at the shot of Marino's great throw right after this. My partner Jim Lampley make reference to Kent Tekulve here in Pittsburgh. Take a look at the effort by Dan Marino, setting up in the pocket. Kevin Green just about to sack him, sidearm, kind of a slinging Sammy Baugh thing. He makes the completion. Great play by number 13.
And incidentally, Irving Fryer, we're told, took a knee to the lower gut, had the wind knocked out of him, and now expects to be able to return to the lineup. On the 14-yard line, Mike Tomczak gives to Barry Foster, and Foster has a gain of a couple across the 15 to about the 16 before Klingbeil and Bowens made the stop for the Dolphins. In case you're just joining us, Tomczak started today in place of the injury-riddled Neil O'Donnell and had a relatively effective first half, though unable to put a touchdown on the board. And there you see how long the drought has stretched for the Steeler offense. No TDs in 12 quarters. That's the challenge to Tomczak, is to bring it into that streak. And on second down, the whistle blows.
False start. Number 72 offense, moving prior to the snap, 5 yards, second down.
Now, Jim, when I had a conversation with Bill Cowher, that's the right tackle, Leon Searcy. Watch the head bob up. Good call by the official. He said that, I said, can you put your finger on one thing as to why the offense has been inconsistent? He says, well, I don't know if I can put on one thing, but one thing does stand out. That's penalties. We've had far too many penalties.
Second down, 12. Great protection for Tomczak. The throw is high.
And And what the penalty does there, of course, is instead of coming up 2nd and 7, 2nd and 8, and getting an opportunity to run or pass, now at 2nd and 12, he knows he's got to throw the ball downfield. That's an advantage for the defense for Miami.
So it will be 3rd down 12 with the ball at the Pittsburgh 12, and the Steelers go 4 wide. You see Eric Green coming off the field as Mills, Hastings, Johnson, and Stone are all on. Steelers 4 of 8 on 3rd downs to this point. Couldn't make the play after he put pressure on Tom Zach. White Stone open downfield. Big gain for the Steelers. Gene Atkins made the stop, but it's a 1st down after a pickup of 22 yards.
Well, we mentioned in the first half that they were going to pick on J.B. Brown. They did it unsuccessfully. This time, Dwight Stone gets man-for-man coverage, and he beats him on the short corner. Dwight Stone, along with Rod Woodson, are the 2 fastest members of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They feel that even though he's not a starter, Stone can still contribute with a big play, and he certainly did there.
So the Steelers get out of a hole on the big completion from Tom Zach to Stone. 1st down at the 33. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom White.
False start. Number 67 offense moving prior to the snap. 5 yards. Still 1st down.
Now, Jim, in fairness to Duval Love, we could make the argument that Tom Zach's cadence is different than what they're used to in Neil O'Donnell. And in the course of the game, particularly now in the second half, you get conditioned to a certain thing that, you kind of go on cruise control. You let your subconscious take over. But basically, because of the snaps that Tom Zach has taken during the week, I'm not sure you can use that as an excuse.
You offered it. 1st down 15 now after the penalty. Tom Zach's throw is intended for Eric Green. Michael Stewart there with coverage for the Dolphins.
You mentioned early in the season he had struggled. You and I broadcast a game in New England where he was absolutely toasted by Ben Coates. Here he stays right with him, turns around on the hook. Green needs to come back to the ball. He didn't come back to the ball, and as a result, Stewart is able to make the play. Watch him drift towards him. Green drifts towards Stewart, and that enables him to come in and bat the ball away.
And Green, battling that hamstring injury, just didn't look very assertive with his feet there. 2nd down, 15 yards to go. Again, good protection for Tom Zach, but nowhere to go as Troy Vincent was all over the intended receiver, Charles Johnson.
Now look for Hastings or Stone here. I think one of the issues that Tom Zach has to do is he's had a fixation with Johnson, which certainly worked well during the series at the end of the 1st half. But he has to look around away from those 2 people. Look at the man-for-man coverage that he had earlier with that man, Dwight Stone.
Tom Zach, 15 of 26 for 161. Charles Johnson, big 1st half, 6 catches for 78 yards. Hasn't caught one yet in the 3rd period. Hastings in motion. Clock almost runs out. They get the play off, and Tom Zach's throw down the middle, intended for Ernie Mills, was touched by Michael Stewart. Frankie Smith was also there on the coverage.
Well, he did go to one of the other people, and he had the time to get him the ball, but Frankie Smith does a nice job. They're in the zone coverage. He reads the eyes and comes over and gets a piece of the ball. That's a good job by the secondary of the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, correction on my call. It was indeed Frankie Smith and not Michael Stewart who got a hand on the football. Mark Royals now standing inside his 15. O.J. McDuffie is at the 30 for the Dolphins. Flag down as McDuffie gets across the 35. White Stone with the stop, 43-yard punt. 7-yard return, possible illegal block coming up here.
No, it's not possible.
Probable,
yeah,
inevitable,
definite,
incontrovertible.
Foolish too, because it was a ways from the play.
We got an illegal block, number 31, during the return, 10 yards. That'll be a 1st down for Miami. Timeout.
It's Sean Hill who gets called for the illegal block. There it is, and we'll be back.
Mike Tomczak is surprising at this point, has already made 30 throws. He's on pace to throw for over 40, which is surprising because this man, of course, standing on the sidelines, was known to hand off an awful lot. It's almost as if Tomczak wants to assert himself when he has his opportunity, Jim.
First down for the Dolphins. Marino with a little shovel pass to James Saxon, and Saxon breaks the first tackle of Greg Lloyd and falls forward for a few yards. It'll be second down 7. It's called a completed pass for Marino.
James Saxon, tremendous special teams player. In fact, that's basically the reason that he was on the roster, because he's great on both returns and coverage. Some huge shoes to fill, taking the place of Keith Byers.
3-yard gain on first down. It's second down 7 for the Dolphins from their 22. Marino gets away from the blitz and throws it out of the hands of Woodson and into the hands of Irving Fryer. Lucky play for the Dolphins, who were burned by the good fortune of the Chicago Bears on a similar deflected pass a week ago.
Well, Rod Woodson can't catch a break. Remember earlier he had an interception right in his arms. Chad Brown forces Marino to move around, throws completely behind, right in his arms, bounces off the pads. He gets it knocked off by Williams, and as a result, Fryer is the one. Watch at the end of the play. What you're going to see, Carnell Lake takes the ball away from Woodson, and in attempting to do that, it popped up, and Fryer is able to make the play.
From the 36 on first down, Bernie Parmalee falls forward to about the 40, gain of 4. It'll be second down 6. Gerald Williams with the tackle for the Steelers. There is a frustrated Rod Woodson. 2 full touches on Marino passes today. Chances for interceptions. Both go awry. And on the good play fake by Marino, he was burned for the 45-yard pass to Fryer that set up the game's only TD. Marino again releases under pressure, and this one's a throwaway. It was LaVon Kirkland who was coming up the middle.
Well, both inside backers can run, and both inside backers are converted outside backers. LaVon Kirkland and Chad Brown. Watch the middle. Watch Marino have to backpedal. Throwing off the back foot. He's completely just throwing that one away.
It was Steed who got to Marino's ankles first, and then Kirkland, who was coming behind Steed, and there they are together. Dolphins 3 of 6 on third downs. Need to get the football across the 45 to the 46-yard line. Woodson coming on the blitz. They pick him up and get it into the hands of Aaron Craver. And Craver tries to move the chains for a second time today. Greg Lloyd made the tackle.
Aaron Craver was a second-round pick out of Fresno State a couple of years ago, and they really felt like he was going to be a star in this league. But for whatever reason, he just couldn't get it going. Marino, you see him dumping underneath. Craver, a strong back. Nice through the Steeler defense there. Hustles through Greg Lloyd, a great tackler. And Perry finishes him off, but not before he gets the first. Craver was released this year after some injury problems because of the injuries that they have had to running back. They brought him back, and over the last 2 games, he's made a major contribution.
They're using him now as the third down back, and he's been effective today. First down 10. Bernie Parmalee. Gain of about 5. Solid tackle by Kirkland, number 99.
Solid tackle, but 5 yards downfield. The Dolphins will take that any time.
Parmalee's numbers so far: 11 carries, 30 yards. Modest.
Once again, it comes back to the point that Keith Sims made earlier, though, committed to it. It seems to me that in each series, he's had barely 1 or 2 carries per series.
Dolphins run the ball twice in a row, trying to get Parmalee heated up. He's got a couple. It'll be third down 3. Gerald Williams with the tackle, and if you are Dom Capers, the Steelers' defensive coordinator, now you begin to look for the pass on 3rd and 3.
Yeah, but one of the things that running right there does, it seems like it's an incongruous play. The reality is now it sets up short 3rd and 2.5. Remember on the drive before when they kicked the field goal, they came in the shotgun, spread out the full wides, went with Aaron Craver on the run. Now Capers has to be cognizant of that, and Gary Stevens has a little more freedom.
It is Craver who's on the field and lines up as the setback next to Marino out of the gun. Shovel pass. First down.
Boy, I tell you, there's somebody. I got to tell you something. This is not the sort of desire you see in the National Football League. This is the sort of thing that you see on the college or high school level. Take a look underneath when Craver gets this ball. Now watch what he does at the end. He knows that there's 2 yards to get the first down. Forget it. I know there's 3 black shirts, but I'm giving up my body. I was cut. I was unemployed earlier in the season. I don't care. I'm getting this.
Darren Perry made the stop, but another first down for Miami. Almost at the 40-yard line, just outside it. 3:30 to go in the quarter. Parmalee, this time dropped by Perry after penetration by the Steeler defensive line.
Darren Perry leading the NFL, tied for the lead in the NFL in interceptions with 6. Many people felt like he was a little bit undersized to play free safety, and the man that we have quoted often today, Keith Sims, is down.
Sims getting a chance to do his run blocking. That's all he asks for. Shaken up here. Dolphins just a little bit thin along the offensive line. Didn't bring Jeff Novak on this trip. Burt Widener, the other starting guard, is playing with a bad ankle. And we'll be back as Miami continues to lead 10-6. Second down 10. Onto the turf. Before it reached the hands of O.J. McDuffie, it'll be third down 10 for Miami.
Walking off the field, take a look at what a tough guy Keith Sims is. Look right here. Look at the knee and thigh. There are no knee pads. There are no thigh pads. Usually you see the big bulky ones on offensive linemen. Take a look at that. Boy, that's a tough guy playing with pants and no pads.
That's a pulling guard who wants every ounce of quickness and mobility he can muster, right?
That's absolutely right.
11th play of the drive for Miami. Dolphins have controlled the football in the third quarter. Chad Brown, number 94, and Ray Seals, number 97, there to sack Marino.
You hear the term used with quarterbacks called happy feet. Watch number 13 when he takes the snap. Watch the left of your screen. They're going to force it up the field. Now when he sees him coming from the left, there's Chad Brown. He's got no place to go. Dom Capers made the right call there, coming with 5, but coming with 3 on the one side. They overloaded it, and they got Marino.
Rod Woodson deep for the Steelers, awaiting Jim Arnold's punt. Woodson's going to try to bring it back. Mike Williams makes the stop for the Dolphins as Woodson gets it to about the 14-yard line. So the Steelers will once again be deep as they start.
What is thy bidding, my master?
There is a great disturbance in the force. Get his battery.
If you only knew the power of the dark side.
Still going. Long-lasting Energizer batteries keep going and going.
Nothing's more American on Thanksgiving Day than the NFL on NBC. Buffalo battles Detroit as 2 great running backs, Thurman Thomas of the Bills and Barry Sanders of the Lions, go head-to-head. A Thanksgiving Day tradition at a special time, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
A football feast, Thanksgiving Day on NBC.
Third quarter in Three Rivers, the intensity of Steeler head coach Bill Cowher as he exhorts his defensive troops to concentrate and stay with it.
He's a motivator. He is. And he's hands-on. He's not what they call a tower coach.
Has to rely on the defense to win games. His offense has gone almost 13 quarters without a touchdown. Mike Tomczak overthrows number 22 John L. Williams. Brian Cox was there. Offensive coordinator Ron Earhart.
He's got to decide here what it is he wants to do in terms of what to establish. Remember, early in the game, Barry Foster got off to a tremendous start in terms of running. Now it's almost as if they feel that that's not going to be effective. And I'm looking at the scoreboard and I see 10-6, and I'm wondering to myself, Jim, that there's plenty of time to reestablish the run, and down by 4 points. I don't think it's necessary to continue to throw as much as they have been.
Particularly starting at your own 14-yard line. Now here they go to Foster on the draw. But on 2nd and 10, it's tough to make it pay off, and this is a short gain only. Let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
Hey, Jim, in Cincinnati, does the name Jeff Blake sound familiar? The young Bengals quarterback looking for a 3rd straight win. 15-yard touchdown pass to Darnay Scott. They have gone to the 4th quarter now at Riverfront Stadium. The Bengals leading the Colts 13-7. Jim and Todd.
All right, thanks very much, Greg. And we talked about the 2 defensive rookies who have shown so brightly. Aaron Glenn of the Jets, Tim Bowens of the Dolphins, Darnay Scott, one of the best offensive rookies in the league this year. On 3rd down, Tomczak throws, and Charles Johnson makes another catch in traffic, but short of 1st down yardage.
And short by 3 yards. Once again, I come back to the issue that it appears that Tomczak just has eyes for either Johnson or Green in crucial situations. You're right, it was a great catch, but short of the 1st.
7th catch of the day for Charles Johnson.
There's Gene Atkins right on top of it.
O.J. McDuffie at his 35-yard line as Mark Royals prepares and kicks it off the side of his foot. Very short. Out of bounds inside the Steeler 40.
Ouch.
Dolphins are going to have primo field position with 35 seconds remaining in the quarter. Already leading 10-6.
And that really hurts. Mark Royals, we mentioned, great inside the 20, but he's last in the AFC, under 40 yards. Gross punting average. A 13-yard punt here. Terrible.
And trouble for the Steelers, who have been impotent on offense throughout the 3rd quarter. And now face the prospect of falling down by a larger number. So the pressure continues for the Steeler defense as Dan Marino comes back on the field. Down to the 20-yard line. Darren Perry with the stop.
And they're going to go with the hurry up. They don't want to let him get on the field now. They want to take advantage of it. I like this here. I like this. They're grabbing it by the throat. This is their opportunity.
They've got the Steelers locked into their base defense against 4 wide receivers with Jackson splitting out wide. And Marino hits him again out of the slot, and he goes out of bounds at the 17-yard line. Carnell Lake with the stop. And the Dolphins creating matchup problems there for the Steelers and Dom Capers.
Well, he's got man-for-man coverage with Keith Jackson. He's certainly taken advantage of it these 2 plays.
Now Capers has his dime on the field, but the Dolphins have 2nd down, 6 yards to go, and a chance to run the football if they'd like from the 16-yard line.
But the 3rd quarter is going to run out, Jim.
The Pittsburgh Steelers have gone 13 quarters without scoring a touchdown. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
You're watching 28 WBRE TV. By authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the NFL is prohibited.
Start of the 4th quarter in Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. You look at defensive end Gerald Williams, who had a touchdown last Monday night against the Bills. He's out, left elbow wrap. Brinson Buckner, number 96, on the field replacing him. Miami Dolphins, 2nd and 6. Irving Fryer, or check it, it's Bernie Parmalee out of the backfield with the catch. And Parmalee is knocked out by Kevin Green as he approaches the chain. He'll be about a yard short of the 1st down.
Getting excited, you can see his reaction there. Marino now 3 straight completions in this drive. Go with the 3 tight end set. This is a great Jim, this is a great opportunity right here to put it away with play action pass. This is why Marino is so effective in the 3 tight end set.
3rd down, less than a yard. And Parmalee is met at the line of scrimmage. He tries to dive forward for the yardage. Levon Kirkland had him wrapped up. Greg Lloyd was there as well, and it's going to be tight.
I'm really surprised. I've seen him do that in so many situations right there where he goes with a play action pass and throws into the end zone. They did get a generous spot, though, and it appears they have the first.
Don Shula was relaxed yesterday as the Dolphins arrived after a morning workout in Miami. Bill Cowher, intense as usual in your meeting with him?
He was, yeah, friendly but intense. But you got to go with what works for you, and clearly that works for Bill Cowher.
And you saw that the Dolphins had picked up the first down on this Parmalee effort.
Left side of the line, Greg Lloyd actually gets an arm on him, but Parmalee able to shove his body. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Look at where that ball was.
That was a generous spot indeed.
So first down, Dolphins from outside the 10. Saxon dropped by Perry. Or check it.
That's a great play by Carnell Lake, because this is a play that they've used inside the 10 for a touchdown. In fact, yesterday, when I had argued with Don Shula about his play calling inside the 20, this is the play I said he should have called. This is the play that they work with Byers so effectively, but Lake does a good job coming up from the secondary, making the tackle. Otherwise, Saxon's in for the touchdown.
Mark the football just inside the 5. They can make a first down without scoring. Parmalee and a host of Steelers. Greg Lloyd gets the call from the public address announcer. There are a lot of other black shirts there as well.
Huge play here. If for whatever reason, the way the offense has been going for the Pittsburgh Steelers, if the Dolphins can get a touchdown here, that would be a big-time score. Gary Stevens now with the biggest call of the game.
It's third down 3. Again, they can make a first down at the 1-yard line.
Here they come.
Start. Offense. 5 yards.
Big.
Still third down.
It is a big play, but clearly you could see by the setup that they had that they were going to throw the ball. Don Capers had the kitchen sink up there in terms of coming. They had 7 guys coming in man-for-man coverage. Take a look at all the black shirts there in the box. They're coming with 7. Marino couldn't get it off in time.
You got the feeling Dan was very anxious for the ball.
He knew exactly where it was he wanted to go. That's the advantage of the shotgun. You can see the whole field.
So now it's third down 8. Number 92 is Jason Gilden. Reserve linebacker with an opportunity to show something, makes a huge play.
What happened there, Jim, is because they had more field to cover. Pittsburgh opted not to go with the blitz, but they rushed 4, and the 4 are very effective. As you mentioned, Jason Geldon, not normally a starter, right defensive end. He just completely goes with the swim move and beats Richmond Webb, their Pro Bowler. Great move by Geldon, sacking Marino. Coming into this game, the Dolphins, the second least sacked team in the NFL.
Stoyanovich from 36 misses. The Steeler defense keeps Pittsburgh alive. We've got 11:59 to go.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by the totally new Ford Contour, a world car for the 21st century. By the 54,000 new employee owners of United Airlines. Come fly our friendly skies. By Transamerica, the people in the pyramid are working for you. And by Coors Light, naturally brewed. Reach for the silver bullet, the pure taste of the Rockies.
Mike Tomczak and the Pittsburgh Steelers from the 26-yard line. And Barry Foster gets it across the 30. Pickup of about 5. It'll be 2nd and 5. Michael Stewart on the stop.
Star for a moment is Jason Gilder, reserve linebacker, and boy, he's getting it from Kevin Green, Pro Bowl outside linebacker. We needed that one, partner. Way to come through for us. You think these people aren't intense? Take a look at that man, Greg Lloyd.
237 pounds, Gilden, and as you pointed out, Todd, they had him lined up at a down lineman position on that play, getting more mobility onto the field, and it paid off.
And it's not as if he beat a stiff. Richmond Webb is considered by many to be the best left tackle in the game.
On second down, flags fly. Marco Coleman getting the quick start for the Dolphins.
John Jackson looked like induced him, though. Here's the debate right there, though. John Jackson clearly flinched, but whether or not the man went first is debatable.
False start. Number 67 offense, 5 yards, still second down.
They're calling it on Duval Love. Take a look. Take a look at the flex here, right here. There's the flex right there you just saw. Now you'll see the flex again by Jackson as Coleman comes upfield. But Duval Love is the one that flexed first. Good call by the official. And once again, the penalties, Jim. You get a good run on first down, comes back, and Cowher just, he can't be happy about it. We're going to see if we can get a deep one on J.B. Brown. He got the corner earlier to Dwight Stone. This is the up route. What a throw and what a catch. Over the shoulder with the one arm. Mills makes the grab.
So they move it to the Dolphin 34. The Steelers had the ball less than 4 minutes in the third period. Lesson on how effective Cox has become from his new middle linebacker position. Let's go to our middle linebacker, Greg Gumbel.
All right, Jim, at Foxborough, San Diego Chargers have made a habit of big plays this season. Here's another one. On the kickoff after a field goal, rookie Andre Coleman out of Kansas State takes it 80 yards for a touchdown, cutting into the New England lead. They're in the fourth quarter now. The Patriots are up 13-10, Jim.
In Pittsburgh, 9:44 to go. Steelers with second and long. Tomczak, Green. Inside the 20 to the 17-yard line. It's a 19-yard pickup for the Steelers.
And how frustrating for Michael Stewart, who felt like he had an interception lined up. Watch to the right of your screen. Michael Stewart feels like he has this pick, but he just can't quite get up high enough. It comes off the tips of his fingers. Green, with good concentration, makes the grab.
From the 17-yard line, Foster working behind Love, and he gets it down to the 11. Duval Love trying to make up for the penalty earlier in the drive. Michael Stewart made the stop for the Dolphins. Good blocking out front.
Of course, the big play of the drive up to this point is that long pass, but this is where they assert themselves. Because of the effectiveness of Tomczak, now they can start running again and run effectively.
It's a 7-yard gain for Foster. 20 carries for 58 yards for Barry. Not a high average, but a good enough number of carries for the Steelers to feel like they've been using the running game. Second down, 3. The drought is broken. First Pittsburgh touchdown in November.
Felt that after the injury, maybe Barry Foster wasn't quite ready today to carry the load. They were wrong.
Another look at the 10-yard touchdown run by Foster. Love with a block inside the 5. Foster with a good cut. And the Steelers take the lead with 8:35 to go. Flag down after the point after touchdown. 6-play drive, 73 yards, 324. The big play in the drive. Tomczak, 42 yards to Ernie Mills.
The extra point is good. After the play is over, personal foul, number 85, Pittsburgh, will be assessed on the kickoff. Timeout.
If you can read lips, you can see that he's not very happy about that.
Looks a little like Ditka there.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call now and ask for our football special. When it's got to be good, and it's got to be now, it's got to be Domino's.
Personal foul penalty on the extra point against Jonathan Hayes of the Pittsburgh Steelers is going to leave Gary Anderson kicking off from the 15-yard line. So the Dolphins stand to gain excellent field position. Irving spikes across the 35 to the 37. Pretty good coverage by the Steelers.
The reason for the field position is right here. Jonathan Hayes, you're going to see in here, Atkins is going to fall on the back of his leg. Now what happens is that he's going to turn around and push Atkins. See, he gets shoved. Now he turns around. He's going to go back and push Atkins. He does it right in front of Tom White. That's the problem. Take a look at the blocking on the right side. Barry Foster cuts back inside, follows Duval up in, standing up for the touchdown. And here's the reaction of the Pittsburgh faithful.
On the sideline, Steelers celebrating their first touchdown since October. Now on first down, Marino to James Saxon.
It's going to come back.
Flag down. Kirkland made the tackle for the Steelers. .8:14 to go. Crowd becoming a factor in the game now.
Holding, number 78, 10 yards for first down.
The esteemed Richmond Webb drawing the holding call.
Take a look at number 78. Watch at the end. Take a look where his hands are. He's got him by the shoulder pads, pushes him to the side. That's the official's call. That's Tom White's call all the way, standing right behind Marino. Kevin Henry is the one that he held on to.
On first and 20. Dropped by Kevin Green. And suddenly, the Steeler defenders are on fire.
And Kevin Green is somebody who many feel might be a one-dimensional backer, kind of a pass rusher. That's basically what Pittsburgh got him for. But here, take a look. He's got Parmalee man-for-man coverage. He fights through the block and able to knock Parmalee down. That's a great play by Kevin Green.
4-yard loss. It'll be second down 24. Miami all the way back now at its 23. So after having to kick the football off from their own 15, the Steelers have salvaged the field position situation. Aaron Craver is ridden out of bounds. Greg Lloyd there along with Woodson for Pittsburgh.
I think it's imperative here for the Miami Dolphins to look for a play that's going to give them some field position. There's a temptation here to look in your playbook. Where's our 3rd and 15 or 16 play? They're more than likely not going to get the first down. But with 6:45 on the clock running, they can play the game of field position, get 8 or 10 yards, pin them down in their territory, give themselves a shot still at a field goal later in the contest.
6 defensive backs on the field for Pittsburgh. Woodson sneaking up, doesn't blitz. Marino throws the ball onto the turf in front of Mike Williams.
And this crowd understands football completely. From the steel curtain days to now, they know what it takes when a great defense asserts itself, and that's exactly what's happened here in the fourth quarter for the Steelers.
Rod Woodson at his 27-yard line. Jim Arnold will punt it away for the Dolphins. Arnold fields the low snap. Woodson comes forward at the 34. Flags down. 37-yard punt. And a lot of white jerseys around Woodson.
Woodson would have been better served to catch the ball and just head upfield and try and go to the left and pick up the wall, because once he goes to the wall, that's when the blocks in the back occur. Now, even though it was a poor punt by Arnold, they can still play the game of field position, assuming they can stop the Steelers.
His heart rate recovering a little bit now from his reaction to the personal foul penalty, which was one of the great firestorms of the year on the sidelines in the NFL.
Illegal block in the back, number 35. During the return, 10 yards, timeout.
Reserve running back Fred McAfee drawing the flag. Steelers lead. We'll be back. A reference to the Steelers' Super Bowl heritage, misuse of the apostrophe, but that's okay. We'll allow the banner to be shown anyway. And there's Joe Green, who was a part of the steel curtain defense that produced those 4 Super Bowl championships. Barry Foster, 21 carries for 68 yards before this one. And on his 22nd carry today, Foster has 5. Let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Jim, in Foxborough, Marion Butts up against his former teammates, the San Diego Chargers, from 1 yard out with the touchdown. The extra point makes it a 20-10 New England lead on San Diego with under 6.5 to play in the game. Jim?
All right, thanks very much, Greg. Here there are 5 minutes, 49 seconds remaining. Steelers, having scored a touchdown in the 4th quarter, their first since October, lead Miami 13-10. Mike Tomczak at quarterback for the Steel City Bulls. Throws to Foster.
What a play.
Aubrey Beavers.
That's a man's play right there. I know he's a rookie from Oklahoma, but that's a big play. Not only taking on the offensive lineman, but coming off to make the play. Number 53 is going to come to the right of your screen. Take a look here, coming out. He has Foster in man-for-man coverage. Now watch, he's going to take on the block first of Dawson and then come up and shove Foster out of bounds before he can even come close to the first down.
Bites off an all-pro block and then manhandles an all-pro runner. Not bad for the Rook, huh? Steelers 5 of 11 on 3rd down. This one, 3rd and 4.
People agree.
Frankie Smith draws the flag. Charles Johnson with the celebration. We're assuming this will be the pass interference call.
Pass interference, number 29 defense. That'll be a first down.
Play they'd used earlier for a first down. Frankie Smith recognized it, but he was there just a little bit too early, pinning the arms of Johnson. Good call by the official.
And Frankie Smith back on the sideline as the Dolphins return to their base defense on 1st down 10. Ball at the Pittsburgh 39. Only a couple. Number 50, Dwight Hollier, making the tackle from behind.
One of the things they're trying to do here, you saw Brian Cox coming on the inside linebacker blitz. They want to take away the running lanes. It doesn't take Fellini to figure out that what they want to do here is bleed the clock and run it as much as possible. You saw Brian Cox knifing from the inside, taking some chances on the outside. This is where the chess game gets interesting.
That's Federico Fellini?
Correct.
I didn't know that film directors could suss out the NFL so well.
Well, I figured that somebody that did those sort of pseudo-intellectual films, it fit.
A little bit low for Jonathan Hayes.
He had exactly what he wanted. He went with the counter boot, Michael Stewart was coming on the blitz, but it held him up just long enough. He had Hayes open in the middle of the field, just threw it short.
So that will occasion 3rd down 6 with the ball at the Pittsburgh 43. Hayes goes back to the sideline. Steelers go 4 wide on 3rd and 6. First down as John L. Williams makes another key catch into Dolphin territory to the 45-yard line. 13-yard gain. J.B. Brown on the stop.
John L. Williams is like the 4th choice here. Watch number 22. He's actually in to protect. Now he sees the protection break down. He's wide open in the flat. There's nobody there to cover him. He cuts up field. Huge first down for the Steelers.
And that will help them burn some clock. Running now at 3:40. 4th catch of the day for Williams. They tend to be of strategic importance. Foster. Dolphins looking for the run in that situation. Hollier with the stop. Let's go to Greg in New York.
All right, Jim, in Kansas City, they have gone to the 4th quarter now. Watch Mark Rippon back into the game. 15-yard touchdown pass. Michael Jackson will fight his way across the goal line, and the Browns lead the Chiefs 13-10 early in the 4th, Jim.
And the significance of that here in Pittsburgh is that the Steelers need this win to stay within 1 game of the Browns if the Browns can hold on and win against Kansas City.
And that's what the Steelers need to do. They know that they get the Browns next month here in Three Rivers. And if they're to beat them, that would be a sweep.
Foster is stopped for no gain. It's going to be 3rd down and long for Pittsburgh. Marco Coleman making the play for Miami.
And Miami using a timeout here.
So the Dolphins use the first of their 3 second-half timeouts and stop the clock with 2 minutes, 42 seconds remaining. Steelers lead by 3. Jim Lampley along with Todd Christensen at Three Rivers Stadium. 2:42 to go. 3rd down 10 for the Steelers. Decision time for Ron Earhart and the Pittsburgh staff.
Great call with the blitz. Great call. And that's a huge play by Michael Stewart. They had a blitz going. They had a blitz. They had the exact play they wanted on the screen. Stewart came off the blitz, tackles John Williams.
Running?
Because evidently they feel like he went down before he went out of bounds. Watch at the end of the play. Here comes the blitz. Michael Stewart's going to come off it. Just in time, he runs him down from behind. Where does he go down? Where does he go down? Right there.
Ooh.
Williams, heads up there. You can see he actually dropped his leg, knowing he's going to get tackled. So he stayed in bounds, forcing the clock to continue to run. The Dolphins are going to let it go down to the 2-minute warning.
Tremendous play by John L. Williams, showing veteran smarts as he ran 40 seconds off the clock by putting his knee on the turf. The Pittsburgh Steelers nursing a 13-10 lead with 2 minutes to go. Now 4th down, 6 yards, and Mark Royals is on. League's #1 kicker at getting the ball out of bounds inside the 20 or getting it downed inside the 20, and that is certainly his job here, Todd. High. And McDuffie makes a fair catch at the 7-yard line.
I don't understand that at all. That was bad. Even if you let the thing go and they down it on the 2 or the 1, that's only 5 yards. Run the risk of letting it go into the 20, or even so on a punt like that, maybe the ball will bounce backwards.
And 34 yards on the punt for Royals, who makes up for the 11-yarder he kicked off the side of his foot the last time he was in the game. So now the Dolphins, with 1:53 and only 2 timeouts, are looking at a distance of 93 yards for a touchdown. About 60 yards to get into field goal range. Craver. Flags down. Woodson on the tackle.
Heller got down just a little bit too soon. Watch the right tackle. There he is right there. Downfield clearly by about 4 yards. The official caught it.
First down 14. Woodson coming. Scott Miller, the intended receiver. Woodson with a late blitz had no chance to put pressure on Marino, but almost deflected the pass.
Well, back-to-back, there's a situation where you saw that Woodson did that. Remember in the Buffalo game on Monday night, blitzed when they were in the end zone.
Now 26 goes to the far side of the field. Tremendous catch downfield by Scott Miller.
And there's a man that continues to come up with big plays. He's our fourth receiver, but as Don Shula told us yesterday, even though he doesn't get the pump, every time we put him in, he seems to come up with big plays, and that one was huge.
26-yard gain, Marino to Miller. O.J. McDuffie breaks a tackle across the 40 to the 41. McKyer makes the stop for the Steelers. Dolphins are in business now. Aaron Craver again. McKyer again makes the stop along with Lloyd.
And Marino uses the timeout.
They'll have one left.
Dan Marino has been absolutely fantastic this year in the fourth quarter. Take a look at his efficiency rating in the fourth quarter, leading the conference 110.7. Just to give you an idea, his normal efficiency rating throughout the game is under 90. So this is where he begins to focus. This is where he begins to take charge, taking on not only the Steeler defense, but 59,000 screaming loyalists here in Pittsburgh.
A week ago in a similar situation, Todd, Marino took him down the field and got him into position to kick the game-tying field goal against the Bears. Stoyanovic's kick was blocked by James Williams. There's another look at the great catch by Scott Miller.
And because of the fact that he's not necessarily a 4-3 or 4-4 guy, he doesn't get the playing time that he might deserve. Because, Jim, every time you and I have done a game, we've seen number 83 come in and make some plays.
Stojanovic warming on the sideline. Second down, a yard to go. Incomplete pass. Number 96, Brenson Buckner was the man who got a hand on the ball.
This brings up an interesting dilemma for the Dolphins, Jim. They have 3rd and 1. Do they want to run and get the first down and come up and spike the ball, or do they want to throw for it again here at midfield? Buckner in for the injured Ray Seals. Comes up with a big play there.
.44 seconds remaining.
The other thing with running the ball here is this would surprise the Steelers if they go with the running play.
20 yards out of field goal range. Good throw. Irving Pryor again. Darren Perry makes the stop. And they are getting close to Stoyanovich range. Football is now at the 35.
I'm surprised he didn't come up and spike the ball here.
Ball hung tantalizingly in the air as Buckner again got a big fist on it.
Well, we know that Stoyanovich has kicked them longer than this. He has kicked a 58-yard field goal. Remember the playoffs a couple of years ago against the Kansas City Chiefs. But you certainly want to get closer than 52 yards to attempt the field goal.
Brenson Buckner, a 6'2", 305-pound rookie defensive lineman out of Clemson, with 2 big plays for the Steelers in this drive. The Dolphins are knocking on the door. 2nd and 10 from the 35. Williams.
That's a bad play by
Gave
Williams.
Up ground.
That's a bad play by Williams. He either needed to get out of bounds or get up the field. 6, 5. The official.
Dolphins had a timeout on the board.
Now he's got a legitimate beef. The official did not get the ball up quickly enough. Marino and his team were ready to go. The clock continued to run down. He had a legitimate beef and he had to scream at Tom White. Now it'll be interesting to see whether or not they put some seconds back on the clock.
Please reset the game clock to 5 seconds.
Now that's still not enough. Take a look. This is a bad play by Williams. Turn to the left and get out of bounds. He turns back in the middle, tries to make a play, gets knocked down. There's 13, 12, 11. Now they're hurrying up, trying to get back. Marino has everybody set.
Trying to save that last time out to set up the field goal attempt. And they almost burned themselves.
But only getting 3 seconds isn't going to help, Jim. They've got to go for the field goal now. They don't have a choice.
No choice. So this will be Stoyanovich from 49 yards. Difference in the game, his miss from 36 earlier in the fourth quarter.
If you're wondering what the conversation is right there, Jim Arnold wanted to know if Marino used the timeout or not. Remember, if you recall, when Marino stepped back, he turned to Tom White, screamed, and called the timeout. Now, when they reset the clock to 5 seconds, Jim Arnold came to the official and said, do we have a timeout or not? Because if they didn't, then as soon as the official sets the ball down, the clock begins to run, and he would have had to hurry the snap. Arnold had the presence of mind to get back to Tom White, ask him, do we have a timeout? The answer is yes. Use it now.
And that's the veteran in Arnold, more than a decade in the league. His normal job is punter, his subsidiary job is holder, and that time he had his wits about him.
Now, for those at home that wonder why we're making a big issue of this, take a look when they get up to the ball and how long it takes Stoyanovich to get himself set, to get the hold set. Clearly, it takes longer than 5 seconds, Jim. The clock could have run out completely before they even got the ball off had he not called the timeout.
Stoyanovich 1 for 2 today. Made from 34, missed from 36.
Remember, Jim, last week against the Chicago Bears in a similar situation, the Chicago Bears came up with a big block right in the middle, but Stoyanovich is certainly no stranger to these situations.
It'll be from 49 yards, the crowd will tell you. And now the Steelers use one to ice him.
Jim, you know what? If you talk to kickers around the league, they'll tell you this has no effect at all.
Well, and this is one of the great fourth quarter clutch kickers of all time on his record.
Yeah, it certainly is. I guess the whole idea, not unlike in basketball when they ice the guy at the free throw line, is giving the illusion to let him think about it. Of course he's going to think about it. He knows what he has to do. In a lot of cases, what it does is it gives a guy a chance to get limber, to think about some other things, some of the idiosyncrasies that might go wrong.
Danny Marino in his hometown of Pittsburgh. Mike Tomczak in his first start of the season for the Steelers. Stoyanovich, career from this distance between 40 and 49, 28 out of 41.
68% is very impressive at that distance, Jim.
Well into double figures in game-winning and game-tying field goals in fourth quarter situations through his career.
He got it. He got it.
Tie game.
How clutch. Boy, he's got to feel good. After missing that field goal earlier, Jim, the 36-yarder, that loomed huge. He had some goat horns coming out of his head. A 48-yarder, hardly automatic by any stretch. Comes off the bench, crowd yelling, all of the momentum with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Look at the hold by Jim Arnold. He gets it down. Stoyanovich pumps it 48 yards. Take a look at the reaction of the Dolphins. Good protection there, too. Right, couldn't have been any better than that.
I argue with this official distance of 48, incidentally. If you watch it, that ball is right on the chalk at 49. I call it 49. The scorers will call it 48.
Take a look at the reaction of the quarterback, Dan Marino. Yeah, he's not very emotional, is he? And think about this in that last drive. Who else would you have rather had?
Nobody. So they'll start over. And as always in these overtime situations, the first critical moment is the coin toss.
Well, even more so now, Jim, because of the way the ball is kicked off. I'm not sure that the people who got together with the rule change thought about that. It's a big issue.
Caught while it's in the air. Heads he calls. Tails it is.
There's the situation. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
With so many viewing choices, Zenith makes selecting and recording programs simple at last. Featuring Starsight, the only on-screen program guide that lets you select any show, anytime, and record at the touch of a button. Available now with Zenith's best picture ever, Zenith AVI with Starsight. See them at your Zenith dealer.
Save during October's best sale at Winnegar Electronics, Honesdale, and Voitech TV and Appliance, Kingston, and Exeter.
You're watching 28 WBRE TV.
Take a look at the reaction. It says it all. The reaction of both sides. Who won the toss? Dolphins called heads.
Tails it is.
Take a look at Marino's reaction. I hope you're not at home reading lips.
A word for Woodson on the advisability of his going ahead and making an official call. And the call was, we'll receive. So the Steelers will get the football to begin the overtime.
Now, as we mentioned earlier, just before the coin toss, the issue of the 30-yard kickoff becomes of paramount importance simply because of field position. Now, if the Steelers are able to get it back to, say, the 30-yard line, that's basically then about 35 yards into field goal position. And, of course, a lot of people debate around the league, Jim, as to why overtimes now shouldn't be like, say, hockey, where they play a quarter instead of, say, sudden death.
Your opinion?
I like that. I think the suddenness of it, you know, if you played this hard to just let one freak play decide it, I'm not for that.
White Stone with 1 foot in the end zone. Well, great coverage by the Dolphins.
Great kickoff coverage and a tremendous kick by Stoyanovich. That becomes that much more significant.
Frankie Smith with the tackle.
It becomes that much more important, the kickoffs now, as they were the year before on the 35-yard line. He catches Stone going backwards. Great kick to the goal line, and as you mentioned, the coverage able to get on top of him. Poor field position at the 16-yard line.
Pittsburgh Steelers in their 3rd overtime game of the season. Beat the Oilers, lost to the Arizona Cardinals. That's Williams in the flat, and he's wrapped up by Troy Vincent. Strong tackle at the corner. Gain of about 4. It'll be 2nd down 6 from the 20-yard line.
This continues to show the confidence they have in Mike Tomczak. He's been doing it all game long. Not afraid to get him the ball. And, you know, I'm sure that most people are sitting at home thinking, well, we're going to go to Barry Foster here. But Tomczak's been the man today.
Open and caught. Ernie Mills. J.B. Brown again shaded by Mills. 31-yard gain, big first down for the Steelers.
A little bit of an out and up move, and what ended up happening is that J.B. Brown pushes him. That's what the flag is. They'll certainly let the penalty go.
Illegal contact. Number 89 defense. Penalty is declined. Result of the play, first down.
Tom was a little confused. 89 is Ernie Mills. It's 37. Now watch at the end right there. He grabs him and holds him, knows that he's beat. Throw comes over the shoulder, left foot, right foot. Great catch.
Oh, just controlled it before getting that 2nd foot down. Now past midfield at the 48. Foster. Down to the 41-yard line. Aubrey Beavers finally makes the stop. the focus shifts to Gary Anderson.
Right side of the offensive line doing the job, creating the gaps. Aubrey Beavers swings and misses. Foster is not going to be tackled by arms, and he runs through a lot of them for an 8-yard gain.
Gary Anderson on the sideline, kicks into a net. Ernie Mills today, 3 catches for 98 yards. Steeler down on the field.
It's Todd Kalis. Offensive guard who took the place of Carlton Hasselrig, who had some personal problems earlier.
Either Ariel Solomon or Justin Strelchik will have to come onto the field to spell Kalis. Looks like it's going to be Strelchik.
Take a look at the back of the leg of Todd Kalis. Watch the right leg at the end of the play. Inevitably, you don't see that. There's just no way you can feel that. That's one of the problems of being an offensive lineman. Rolled up on the back of his leg.
The pickup by Foster was 7 yards. It'll be 2nd down 3, the ball at the Miami 41. There's the man of the day for the Steelers if they can pull out a win, Mike Tomczak, who engineered a touchdown drive in the 4th quarter to give the Steelers their first touchdown since October. Barry Foster, 26 carries for 83 yards and a touchdown today.
And in Kansas City looming big. Kansas City now is up by a touchdown on Cleveland. So if Pittsburgh somehow were able to come through here, kick the field goal and win, they would be tied with the Cleveland Browns atop the Central Division.
With Buffalo beating Green Bay, the last we saw that score, the East in the AFC will be tightened up. And there's an update on the Cleveland-Kansas City score in the 4th quarter. Montana and the Chiefs back up 20-13. 7:46 remaining there. Here in Three Rivers, 13:35 to go in overtime. Pittsburgh with the first possession of the overtime. Todd Kalis comes off. Justin Strelchik will replace him at offensive guard.
Got a lot of respect for that man, Bill Cowher. He comes out, guys get hurt. A lot of times you see the head coach, he won't come out on the field to check on his player. Bill Cowher went all the way across the field to check on Todd Kalis. Not to check on a star player, but to check on one of his own. Boy, you just got to have a lot of respect, a lot of appreciation for that head coach, how personally involved he is with his players.
And a look at the AFC Central standings to underline the point once again. If Cleveland loses, Pittsburgh pulls out a win, they'll be tied. Mucho football yet to be played in the regular season. Foster. Tough yardage at this point. Collier makes the stop for the Dolphins.
And notice that the Dolphins are selling out here. They had 8 up in the box. 8 people up on the line of scrimmage, corners and man-for-man coverage. This makes for an interesting decision for Ron Earhart.
On 3rd and 1.
And take a look at the number of plays. Remember earlier, Tim Bowens has been making some big plays. This could be a huge time for play action. A little misdirection, get the ball to John L. Williams or Eric Green underneath.
How about Ernie Mills deep, one-on-one against J.B. Brown on the near side of the field.
Look at all the Dolphins. You got 8 up there.
They go with Foster. And he is near the chain, though maybe not all the way there. Gene Atkins with the stop for the Dolphins. Critical measurement coming up.
Critical spot, too.
We saw the fortunate spot for Miami before, and now it's pretty clear, Todd, he's short of the first down.
Well, this is a no-brainer. They're going to go for it here.
And if they fail, they leave the Dolphins with excellent field position.
That's why it's overtime, sudden death, the whole mentality. They'll go for it.
This is going to be about a half-yard short. Almost a full yard. See what kind of personnel Cowher and Earhart elect to put on the field on 4th down 1. Steelers carry 4 tight ends on the roster, and sometimes they use all 4. Now Rasby, reserve tight end, goes on. Mills and Johnson both come off. So the Steelers are in their short yardage configuration.
They're not going to do this, but I tell you what, play action pass here would be absolutely enormous.
It could win you the game. Williams blocking ahead of Foster. He's short. Now makes the second effort.
But
and
you know
I think
what?
he's still short.
But you know what happens, Jim, is a lot of times in the second effort, they don't give it to you. And based on that spot, they absolutely did not get it. Great stand by the Dolphin defense.
I'm like you, Todd. I love the idea of play action on 3rd and 1.
Unlike me? This was 4th and 1.
I said
partner.
I am like you.
Oh, am
2
like.
plays ago I'm talking
unlike.
about, not
Okay.
on this play.
Clearly it's short. They're going to measure it. But you can tell by the reaction of the Dolphins, they know that they stopped him.
Yeah, this is a perfunctory measurement. Steeler defense has got to get ready to come onto the field. They're still a half-yard short.
Yeah, they didn't gain anything.
So it will be Miami football outside their 39-yard line.
And look at the reaction of Brian Cox. So out of control, he bumps into the linesman. Take a look here in the middle where he ends up getting stopped. Good job of stuffing him right there, Troy Vincent. Now the second effort, if we can take another look at that, you see the second effort. Look at the reaction, first of all, of Tom Olivadotti. Jim, you mentioned the second effort. They didn't give him the second effort. They stopped it there.
Marino will go out of the gun on 1st down 10. Jackson across midfield, 1st down Dolphins. Carnell Lake there with it.
Take a look at the second effort. Now Barry Foster initially gets stopped right here. Now watch the effort. Now watch the extra effort. Is he stopped there or not? Because as he lays down there on the second spot right there at the end, he's across the 39-yard line. The officials decided at that point that his initial momentum had been stopped, and that's where the mark was, Jim.
1st down Miami. Just into Steeler territory. Kevin Green with a wallop against James Saxon, but Saxon held on to the football.
Is it a lot to ask here of the Pittsburgh defense to come up with yet another big play? You can feel the inevitability here in the stands of Dan Marino moving them down into field goal position. Someone at some point is going to have to come up with a big play for the Steelers.
This is what the Steelers live on. It's their whole identity. 2nd down after the 1-yard gain. Kirkland got to Marino. Marino got rid of the football.
Pryor saw the blitz coming, and he does the right job. You can see the reaction of Marino. Catch the ball, please. He has exactly what he wants. He shortens it, throws it right there. He can't hold on.
3rd down 9.
Now, what is Dom Capers going to do here? Is he going to come with 6 and 7? Is he going to come with the outside with Lake or with Woodson?
Well, this is some chess game, Todd. First down, if he held on. And they're going to say it's a catch for O.J. McDuffie working against Dion Figures.
Not just whether or not it was a catch, but if the ball popped out later. Because if it popped out later and he wasn't touched, that could have been a fumble. Take a look at the end of the play. Take a look at the ball. Oh, the ball. Oh, goodness. It looks like it squirted in there. Are his hands underneath it? Look at that. It's not. That's not a completed ball. The ball hit the ground and his leg covered it up. Now the ball squirts out. It's not a fumble because Figures is on top of him. That's not a catch. That's tough.
Good fortune for the Dolphins, though. 1st down. Armley is met and dropped in the backfield by Kevin Green. And Green, at this moment, is just in outer space, Todd. He's wild out there.
Let's have another look at the catch, Jim. Watch the ball right there. His arms are underneath, but look, it squeezes through. That's on the ground. The ball is on the ground. He cradles it, gets on top of it. The man that makes the call is coming from the left side. He is blind as to where the ball ends up. The ball is actually on the turf, and you're right, Jim. The Dolphins caught a break.
After the tackle for loss, 4 yards by Kevin Green. It's second down, 14. Football is loose, and it's going to be ruled dead ball. It's going to be ruled dead ball as Kirkland makes a lonely but unrequited trip.
But it's Joel Steed.
Joel Steed with the play.
We said that somebody was going to have to make a big play, and now we've had them back-to-back. First Kevin Green, and now the nose tackle Joel Steed. Not normally a great pass rusher, but with the influence on the outside, having to pick up the people coming from the outside, that's opening up inside.
Crowd responding to the dead ball call. Many of them hoping against hope that Kirkland had won the game.
Now as his momentum stopped right there, okay, he blows the whistle. The ball is stripped out there. That's a nice play there by Ray Seals, who's able to knock the ball out, but they say no. They say that his momentum had been stopped.
Jason Gilden in the game, number 92. Made a huge play earlier. Marino down the middle. McDuffie loses the football. Perry falls on it.
They're calling it incomplete.
They're going to rule it incomplete.
Incomplete. Now all of a sudden the controversial calls up to the entire for 4 quarters. We have none. Now in the overtime, big calls all around.
Every play.
Now is this a catch? Take a look. Has
What
the
a
ball
throw.
right there. 1, 2. Now the ball comes out afterwards. How is that not a catch? He took 2 steps with it.
Particularly if the other one was a catch.
Here's a better angle of it in the end zone. Is he bobbling the ball? There he has it. 1, 2. He's down and the ball comes out. I don't see how that's an incompletion.
Dolphins are forced to punt. Woodson waits at the 10. Arnold's kick is headed toward the goal line and bounces back to be downed at the 11-yard line.
Nice punt by Arnold.
Tremendous. So Arnold does his job just as Mark Royal did in the 4th quarter.
This is not usually what you get in the overtime. Most cases you see one team just drive down the field. The Steelers did do that. Stopped on 4th down. As I mentioned, I thought there just seemed to be a feeling of inevitability with Marino and the Dolphins, but give the Steeler defense credit. They rose up, made some big plays.
You had a sequence of calls there that tested the resilience of the Pittsburgh defense. But the Steeler defenders hung in, kept their concentration, and came out alive. Huge drop by Green. He would have been across the 35-yard line near the 40. So that drop erases what could have been a 27-yard gain.
Well, there's no excuse. He has Stewart man-for-man coverage, runs the short corner. Tomczak puts it right there. He just drops the ball.
Second down 10 from the 13. That make it the 12. Across the 40 to the 41. Aubrey Beavers and Gene Atkins finally made the stop.
Watch the left side of your screen. They go in zone defense, not man for man. Aubrey Beavers gets bumped off by Dawson. Look at the block. Now poor tackling right here by Atkins. Look at that. He initially hits him at about the 28-yard line, but instead Foster runs right through him and sets up shop now at the 40.
28-yard gain for the Steelers. We're almost halfway through overtime. Tomczak trying to get it in there to Charles Johnson. J.B. Brown, again, the target of the Steeler passing offense.
And give J.B. Brown credit for hanging in there. He has every reason to call it quits. Feel bad about himself, feel sorry. Right with them on the short post. Watch number 37 get in there. Actually, he doesn't really make the play. Johnson just doesn't come up with it. 2 big drops now in this drive, and Tomczak is saying to himself, come on, help me out.
That was a heck of a gutty shot from Tomczak, too. Right on the money, and Johnson simply couldn't hold on. 2nd down 10. And the Dolphins, with Dwight Hollier reacting quickly, muffled the 2nd down 10 running play.
You get in this situation, you're just waiting for a huge play. It's not like it's a 4-quarter situation. Okay, you make a big play, we'll make up for it later. Or if we make a mistake, we'll make up for it later. That's why they call it sudden death. Everybody is waiting for somebody to make a big play. Tom Olivadotti, Dom Capers, Ron Earhart, Gary Stevens, as you mentioned earlier, the chess match. Something.
Hastings gets bottled up in the middle. Tomczak has to go elsewhere. Finally finds a man. John L. Williams inside the Dolphin 40 to the 36-yard line. A 23-yard gain and another great veteran play by Williams.
Look at the Dolphins. They only rush 3 people. They keep 5 into block. That gives Tomczak plenty of time. He's looking all over the field, and finally Williams is able to find a dead spot in the zone and break through. Once again, Williams with the clutch catch. Interesting story with, of course, that's the man of the hour right now when it's going to be his turn, but they need another 5 yards.
There's your 5 yards. Barry Foster to the Miami 33. Collier again with the tackle.
Interesting story, Jim, with regards to John L. Williams. He wore number 32 when he was with the Seattle Seahawks, and when he came to Pittsburgh, he asked for number 32, and of course the Steelers don't retire jerseys. But Tony Parisi, the longtime equipment manager of the Steelers, said, no, you're not going to get 32, with deference to Franco Harris.
Tomczak in trouble, gets rid of it down the middle, and this time Eric Green holds on. Green is at the 20. Tim Bowens all the way downfield to make the tackle on the tight end.
Eric Green right in the middle. Good coverage by Stewart. Then he comes back across the grain. Once again, a situation where the coverage isn't bad, but because of the protection that he has and his ability to buy time, Green is able to come off of his route, find a dead spot in the zone, make a huge catch, making up for the one that he had dropped earlier.
And Bill Cowher's going to go right now, Todd. Gary Anderson has come onto the field, along with Mark Royals, the holder, Kendall Gammon, the snapper. Mike Tomczak, 26 out of 42 for 343 yards. He did his job. Now can Anderson pay it off? What an effort by both teams. This is a Steeler timeout. Bill Cowher using the timeout so that his team can be fully organized for this effort. Anderson on the day, 2 of 2. Made a 19-yarder, made a 48-yarder, and he ranks just behind his counterpart, Pete Stoyanovich, on the all-time career field goal accuracy list.
And that, I think, is one of the reasons why they opt to do it right now.
This will be about a 39-yard try.
Because you have that much confidence in Gary Anderson. Only missed 1 kick the entire season, 19 for 20, I believe.
Yeah, you're right. I was saying earlier that he had a streak this season, but a closer check of the Pittsburgh press release, which will not be on my reading list after this. And there's the game winner. to 8-3, tightening up the AFC Central.
This is the kind of game, Jim, that if you win, it's just euphoric. The feeling is just indescribable. And on the flip side of it, if you lose, it's debilitating.
Dolphins slip to 7-4. They will still lead the AFC East.
Kendall Gammon's snap, Mark Royals hold, Gary Anderson's kick, all right on the money. Says it all. As does that.
An unrequited trip home for Dan Marino and the Dolphins. Another tough experience for Don Shula. A gutty victory for Bill Cowher and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
A couple of pretty good players chatting there. Rod Woodson, Keith Jackson.
The employee owners of Avis would like to salute the game's most valuable player, Gary Anderson, as the winner of today's We Try Harder award. His 3 field goals giving the Steelers the margin of victory, 16-13. But a nod here to Mike Tomczak, who got his first start of the season for the Steelers, was 26 out of 42 for 343 yards, had 2 very gutty, crucial completions in the drive to the game-winning field goal. And once again, in overtime, the final score of today's game, the Pittsburgh Steelers 16, the Miami Dolphins 13. For Todd Christensen, I'm Jim Lampley. This has been a presentation of NBC Sports in our 30th year of covering the NFL.